Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. The latest on that plane crash that left a young mother dead. A 13-year-old boy shot dead. And how much longer with the rain? It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, June 7th, 2022. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be here filling in for Don Sargent. And also this morning, we're going to be getting a preview of the Primary School Student of the Year Awards. That's coming up. And we'll tell you what we can expect this year. And a business news roundup in Morning Blend Business. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, the young mother killed in a plane crash in Long Island early Sunday was not scheduled to travel back to Nassau until today, according to her sister, speaking to the Nassau Guardian. 22-year-old Alethea Newbold, who had a 6-month-old daughter, was the only person of the 7 aboard who lost her life when the Piper Navajo went down in bushes 2 miles from Devon's Key Airport shortly after takeoff. The survivors identified as pilot Brad McPhee, Nia Bethel Sears, Leanka Rigby, Patsy Higgs, Rhiannon Thompson, and Alicia Roll. Newbold's sister, Machanti Sims, saying that she left on Thursday to work as a hostess and server at Long Island's regatta events. Sims says her family does not know why Newbold decided to return early. The Aircraft Accident Investigation Authority saying it was notified about the crash shortly after 9 a.m. and an emergency response was immediately initiated with efforts by the Royal Bahamas Police Force, Defense Force, Airport Authority, and United States Coast Guard. Senator Tyrell Young was among the first people to arrive at the crash site. Young says he arrived about 15 minutes after the crash. By this time, Newbold had already died. Survivors were given preliminary medical assessments and care on Long Island. Injuries included suspected fractures, concussions, and various lacerations. The survivors were transported to New Providence in U.S. Coast Guard helicopters on Sunday afternoon. Nervous relatives and friends flooded the airport as they waited for the helicopters to arrive at 2 p.m. You can read more about the harrowing tales in today's Nassau Guardian. The family of 13-year-old Quinton Danny McKenzie, a student at L.W. Young Junior High School, in grief and asking many questions after he was shot on a park in Kemp Road just before 8 p.m. on Friday. He was pronounced dead in the hospital. His father, Quincy McKenzie, saying Quinton, who would have turned 14 on June 22nd, was the grandson of Leroy Smokey 007 McKenzie, the late Bahamian entertainer. McKenzie says he understands his son was shot in the neck and that a bullet also grazed his jaw or his mouth. Police say the boy was shot multiple times. Police reported that they were alerted via shot spotter of multiple gunshots in the area of Williams Lane off Kemp Road. Quinton was transported to hospital via ambulance. His father says that when he was shot, he had money in his hands. He says they were playing games, apparently. McKenzie says the boys whom he was playing with reported that everyone ran during the gambling game and there was some altercation. McKenzie says he is still in shock. You can read more about this in today's Nassau Guardian as well. And the Bahamas hit with lots of rain over the holiday weekend. A tropical cyclone dumping more than 10 inches of rain on Grand Bahama, according to Acting Director of Bahamas Meteorology, Jeffrey Simmons. He's speaking during a press conference on Sunday. He said most of the rainfall took place on Bimini, the Berry Islands, Grand Bahama, and Abaco. He says that's where most of the rainfall occurred, but reports out of Grand Bahama that it rained for 48 hours from 8 o'clock Friday morning to 8 o'clock Sunday morning, and that they measured as much as 10.96 inches of rain. As the system moved over the northern Bahamas, it had maximum sustained winds of 45 miles per hour. Due to the wind speed, Grand Bahama Airport was closed on Saturday and later reopened on Sunday. Minister for Grand Bahama, Ginger Moxie, says there were reports of bridges, fallen trees, roof and flood damage on the road on the island. And images and videos from Grand Bahama showed severe flooding in many communities. And although Prime Minister Phil Davis called for the abolition of the Queen's honors as opposition leader, the Office of the Prime Minister and Press Secretary Clint Watson saying Davis believes the Bahamas should continue to accept the awards as long as the Queen remains head of state. Overseas from the UK, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson trying to patch up his tattered authority today after surviving a no-confidence vote that laid bare deep division in his Conservative Party and raised serious doubts about how long he can stay in office. Under party rules, Johnson is now free from another challenge for a year, but previous Conservative prime ministers who faced no-confidence votes have been terminally damaged. And a growing number of Conservative lawmakers worry that the famously people-pleasing Johnson could now be a liability with voters. Just about to get on with the job and focus on, quote, what matters to the British people, defined by him as the economy, healthcare, and crime, after Conservative lawmakers voted 211 to 148 to support him as leader. The scale of the rebellion, though, raising serious questions about his ability to govern at a time of increasing economic and social strain. Former Conservative leader William Hague calling on Johnson to step down, saying the damage done to his premiership is severe. The no-confidence vote was triggered because at least 54 Tory legislators, 15% of the party's parliamentary caucus, called for a challenge to Johnson. Johnson needed the backing of 180 of the 359 Conservative lawmakers to stay in power. He got more than that, but although he described the win as convincing, the rebellion was larger than some of his supporters had predicted. The margin was narrower than one his predecessor, Theresa May, got in a 2018 no-confidence vote. She was forced to resign 6 months later. The rebellion also a sign of deep Conservative divisions less than 3 years after Johnson led the party to its biggest election victory in decades. Most British newspapers were in little doubt that it was bad news for a leader who was always before shown an uncommon ability to shrug off scandals. And Sri Lanka's Prime Minister today saying that the United Nations has arranged a worldwide public appeal to help the island nation's food, agriculture, and health sectors amid serious shortages caused by its worst economic crises in recent memory. In a speech to Parliament, the Prime Minister saying the UN plans to provide $48 million in assistance over a 4-month period. He said that for the next 3 weeks it'll be tough to obtain some essentials and urged people to be united and patient, to use the scarce supplies as carefully as possible, and to avoid non-essential travel. Sri Lanka is nearly bankrupt, having suspended repayment of its foreign loans. Its foreign reserves are almost spent, which has limited imports and caused serious shortages of essentials, including food, medicine, fuel, and cooking gas. The nation is due to repay $7 billion this year of the $25 billion in foreign loans it is scheduled to repay. Sri Lanka's total foreign debt is $51 billion. Authorities have started discussions with the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, for a bailout package, and the Prime Minister asked the IMF to lead a conference to unite Sri Lanka's leading partners or lending partners. He says Sri Lanka will need about $6 billion over the next 6 months to stay afloat. In sports, a heartbreaker in soccer after a rainy day in Trinidad and Tobago and Port of Spain. Mother Nature did hold up Monday for the highly Bahamas and Trinidad and Tobago, but in the end, the Junkanoo boys turned in a defensive performance, but an early goal by the home team was enough to help them hold on to a 1-0 victory in the CONCACAF Nations League action last night. It was a tale of two halves for the Bahamas squad, as a change in the formation to start the second half paid off but did not result in the visiting team finding the back of the net. You can read more about this heartbreaking loss in today's Guardian Sports section. This comes after the Bahamas defeated St. Vincent and the Grenadines 1-0 here at home on Friday. And in Life University Running Eagles men's track and field first season since it went dormant, Bahamian head coach Dominic Demerit bagging the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics Men's Track and Field Coach of the Year award. He was instrumental in the Running Eagles' journey to an NAIA Men's Track and Field outdoor title this past season. The men went to Gulf Shores, Alabama, and finished with a total of 52 points to take home the title. They won. Southeastern University was second with 47. And was followed by the University of British Columbia with 39 points. This is the first time Life University won the NAIA outdoor title since 2000. You can read more about Demerit in today's Guardian Sports section. Overseas, the NHL, the Avalanche sweeping the Oilers, and they will advance to the Stanley Cup. Colorado will take on the winner of the Eastern Conference Final between the New York Rangers and two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning. The Rangers lead the best-of-7 series 2-1. Game 4 is Tuesday at Tampa Bay. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, multi-level trough combined with streaming tropical moisture extending across the Bahamas will continue to produce showers and thunderstorms through tonight. The threat of waterspouts and funnel cloud activity will continue. There's also the potential for a few strong to severe thunderstorms, and expect more flooding in low-lying and flood-prone areas because the ground is already saturated and everybody's being asked to take necessary precautions. A lot happening and will continue to happen over the next couple of days. For today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, we're looking at partly cloudy to cloudy, humid, and breezy conditions with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms on and off through tonight. Some showers will be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. For boaters, small craft caution in effect for the northwest Bahamas. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near showers. Winds south to southwest at 15 to 20 knots, falling 10 to 15 knots tonight in the northwestern islands. East to southeast at 10 to 15 in the central islands. Seas 4 to 6 feet, but diminishing to 2 to 4 feet tonight in the northwestern islands, 2 to 4 in the central Bahamas. For the southeastern islands today, variably cloudy and warm with the chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms possible through tonight. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers and thunderstorms. Wind southeast to south at 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet. Temperature-wise today, we are looking at highs getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 75 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. Currently in Nassau, we're seeing rain in many portions of New Providence, and we are at about 74 degrees. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
You're listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Imagine driving your dream car, doing all the things you never thought you could, like perfecting your parallel parking skills, or picking up your date. Everyone loves to dream. Stop dreaming. Start driving with a brand new offer from Scotiabank. With an auto loan from Scotiabank, benefit from no payments for up to 2 months, a low interest rate, up to 9 years to repay, and free insurance for the first year, up to 2.5. Promotion ends June 30th, 2022. Stop dreaming and start driving today with an auto loan from Scotiabank.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Preparing for a hurricane can make all the difference in safeguarding lives. By knowing what actions you should take to reduce the effects of hurricane disaster. Get all the facts of the potential of having insurance, impact-resistant windows, home emergency power, surge protectors, essential supplies, plus so much more before the storm. After the storm, where to purchase building or cleaning supplies, waste disposal, medical care, which auto shop to go to after driving through flooded streets, and more. The Nassau Guardian's Hurricane Guide will help to make sure everyone in the event a hurricane approaches. Take advantage of this double insertion opportunity plus 15 radio commercials. Contact us today at 302-2300 or your account executives. Will you be prepared?
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of a old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. That's the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC. 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Laverne Gardner. Laverne, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Great to have you with us on a Tuesday.
Yes, it's good to be with you.
Hope you are dry up there in Grand Bahama.
Finally, we are.
Yeah? Okay. Well, that's better than New Providence. We're going to get to that in a moment, getting the latest from the Department of Meteorology. But that's coming up. And also this morning, more on the just a really difficult weekend. So much happened over the holiday weekend. We'll have the latest on this terrible plane crash that resulted in the death of a young mother. And on the young boy, the teenager that was shot and killed on Friday. And more of what's making news at this time. So a lot to get to on this Tuesday morning. And yes, it is Tuesday. I have to keep reminding yourself that it's Tuesday after all of that. But later in the show, we're going to get to the details about the Primary School Student of the Year Awards. That's coming up. And then we've got a lot to talk about in Morning Blend business. So a busy morning ahead. But let's begin with what's in the news. And in the news, as we said, so many big stories. That a plane crash in Long Island has claimed the life of a young mother. We'll get to that in a moment. And then a teenager shot here in New Providence. But the other big story has been the weather. It has been quite something for the past few days as that tropical system moved over. And the rain hasn't stopped at all. For more on what's happening here, I'm very pleased to welcome from the Department of Meteorology on our live line, we've got Giselle Mather. Giselle, good morning. Welcome to Morning Blend.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. So is it my imagination or has it not stopped raining for some parts of New Providence since Thursday?
It's not that bad.
Okay.
We have been having some rain since yesterday evening. Almost, I wouldn't say constantly because we had a bit of a break overnight. And then early this morning, the rain started once again. So it's been off and on for the past several hours.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what exactly is happening? And then we can go back to talk about what happened earlier in the weekend.
Okay. Well, as you know, this is June. June is typically June, one of our rainier months. So this is just typical June weather for us here in the Bahamas. Right now we have some multi-level troughing over the area, and then we have some streaming tropical moisture. So that is giving us a wet weather pattern across the area, and that's going to hold for the next few days. But going into the weekend, it looks like things are going to start to dry up a little bit over the islands, and maybe we can start to, have a lot of the water that is settled, or the flooding start to just dry up and go away.
Wow. All right. So any idea how much rainfall we did see here in New Providence, at least?
In New Providence, I do not have exact figures, but at the airport, I think we had about 2 inches or so.
Mm-hmm.
2.64 inches. Sorry, I was just consulting with my assistant. We had about 2.64 inches. It was from yesterday afternoon and into this morning so far. But we won't measure rainfall again until after 8 o'clock, so that number will definitely go up.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So, what about for some of the other islands that we're seeing homecomings and regattas, people trying to get back home? What are they experiencing there? We know there were lots of thunderstorm warnings issued by the Department of Meteorology over the weekend. Are things going to improve for them to get back to wherever they need to go?
Well, for today, for the most part, most of the islands in the Northwest Bahamas, namely Andros, New Providence, Abacos, Eleuthera, and then you have Cat Island in the Central Bahamas. So those islands are going to continue to experience the showers and thunderstorms throughout much of the morning. By the afternoon, you may start to see a little bit of clearing, but then the rain is going to come back again. Some of the rain is going to be light, some is going to be moderate, and some could possibly be heavy. Persons getting back home, it depends on, I guess, what type of aircraft they're flying, whether they're flying like Bahamas Air. Bahamas Air can normally fly in this type of conditions because they're using instruments. However, some of the small aircraft that may just be visual flight rule, that may be a little difficult. But I'm not an expert on that, so don't hold me to that.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about what happened at the start of the holiday weekend as that tropical system was moving. And my co-host is in Grand Bahama, Laverne's in Grand Bahama, and she was sending me some videos of her yard, and we saw people using boats and jet skis to get around. Just how wild did it get up there?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yes.
Well, from what I have seen, then they had a lot of flooding in Grand Bahama and parts of Grand Bahama. Now, that's basically what I've seen in social media. From my colleagues, I got reports from them. They had about, I think, like more than 10 inches of rainfall in Grand Bahama Saturday, between Friday and Saturday.
Wow.
So they did have quite a bit of flooding, quite a bit of rain, but that was to be expected because we did issue a statement from early last week warning that this would be the case. So, it just materialized just as we had anticipated.
Mm-hmm. Wow. All right.
Now, as far as anything else on the ground, I guess your colleague would be able, since she said she'd be able to tell us, because we really, besides getting weather information from our colleagues in Grand Bahama, we get basically what the public gets, what you see on social media, or if you're family, I would send you information and stuff like that.
Right. Okay. All right. So the takeaway is that this is typical rainy season, although this feels worse, but typical rainy season pattern, and hopefully things will dry out by the weekend.
It will start to dry out by the weekend. But yes, May, June, July, those are typically our rainy months. So it may seem or it may feel a little bit, and yes, I'm sure when we look at the records, probably in another month, our climatological section will be able to tell us exactly if we had higher numbers than in previous years. They would analyze the information based on the data collected with how much rainfall we did have. However, don't forget now, over the years, we've done a whole lot more building up of the islands, and so the ground gets saturated really fast. You have concrete jungle going on in a lot of places, so it's a lot of other things, and you have hills being cut down, et cetera, et cetera. So you have water tend to kind of settle in areas that may not have, but you have houses in some of those areas that may not have been there before. So it's a multi-level issue. And then also, too, with everyone having a camera, you see these things so much more and so much more prevalent than before. So sometimes when we see it more, it makes it seem like, oh my God, what's going on?
Yeah.
But, everyone just has a camera, everyone, has a phone, and people are videotaping. And, of course, with social media, things are shared so much more easily, You take it right now and you could send it to someone in Grand Bahama within a second.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Chazelle Mather, thank you so much. We appreciate talking with you this morning, and I appreciate you giving us some time. And, good. Keep up the good work, keeping us posted out there at the Department of Meteorology.
Thank you so much. You have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
All right. So, Laverne.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't believe some of the videos we were seeing
Yes,
from up there.
we got flooding in a lot of different areas over here. We got some rain early this morning. It's not raining now. It seems to be okay, but it is overcast.
Has the water retreated there, or is it still?
Yes,
still
for
yeah?
the most part it
Okay.
has. Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's encouraging.
But it was flooding. Oh, Saturday
Mm-hmm.
was yeah.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So let's get your reaction to all of this, folks. What you're seeing. I know there are some parts of New Providence that are definitely flooded. So the streets are wet and flooded, and it's still dark. Well, the sun's coming up, but if you're driving in the dark, you can't tell how deep the water is. But let's get your reaction to all of this very wet weekend. You can call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. Morning, Laverne. How you guys doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
Good morning to the Bahamas. I have a question for you. I'm going to touch briefly on the weather situation, but I have a question off the beaten track, but it's relevant. But let me just touch on the weather situation here. This might be the rainy season, but this is also obviously and naturally the hurricane season. So the weather folks just let us know we were going to get a lot of water in the in the northern Bahamas. So it just so happened that it is what it is, eh? I hope nobody got hurt or injured or anything during this time. So that's what I would just simply want to say, taking away the positive from it. And my condolences, of course, to the family who lost a young lady in a plane crash in Long Island.
Yes, absolutely.
Boy, I tell you. But my question to you, Dwight, as a news reporter, how do you folks handle constantly, especially when it's heavy negative news, how do you folks handle or cope with the constant reporting of negative news? I asked you that question because when I heard about that, the tragic shooting of the 13-year-old, that in and of itself is tragic, and my condolences to the family in that instance as well. But you guys are behind the desk, as it were, all the time, writing them up, interviewing, reporting on them. How do you folks in the media handle the constant pushing out of negative news? Because I listen, and one of the reasons I don't like listening to news anymore is because too much of it is too negative. But y'all got to live with this. This is y'all job. I'm really respectfully and sincerely interested in knowing getting your response to that.
Well, it'll affect different people differently.
Truly.
But for some, it's very challenging.
Do you find some of your colleagues over the years, or even currently leaving the business of news reporting because of the stress of the stress of negativism in reporting, as I would dub it? Do you find a lot of people leaving because of that, or people not wanting to come into the industry because too much of it is so negative?
I think that latter part, that one. I mean, if you know you know what the business is going to be like, so you know it's going to be challenging. The problem here is that the place is so small, and often you're reporting on people you know or people that you're familiar with, and that's very, very, very difficult.
Now,
but some handle it better than others.
Over the last several months, I've been reviewing the Guardian website a lot, and I've been getting a lot of interesting information from the business section in particular. and I see a lot going on. So what I'm wondering is, can you folks in the media truly and respectfully try to report on more?
Well, you just said that you saw it in the paper, so it's there, right? So not everything will make the front page, but it's in the paper and it's on the website, so it's getting coverage. Got to move on though, but it does absolutely. So don't just focus on the front page. As you said, you just saw it online, so it is getting covered. But thank you for the questions. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Glenn. Thanks for taking my call.
Hi.
Yeah, I'd like to give some advice based on what I've been seeing on the streets. Not everyone seems to keeping their vehicle tuned up and all that, so you probably will run into challenges when your spark plugs ever get wet. But if you drive slowly, just drive slowly, not too fast, and if you happen to go into a hole, try to not come out the hole. Just hold your brakes and stay in the hole. The reason being, if you go in the hole and you come out, you may split your tire, and you don't want to do that. But just like a vehicle and our human body, it breathes. We have an air intake in your vehicle, and it's normally situated right above the engine. If you drive fast and water gets into that air intake, similar to what will happen, you would drown if you have air in your water in your lungs. The vehicle is going to stall out. You may damage the whole engine. So take it easy out there and have a good day.
Yep. Thank you very much. All right. And it's got to just be honest. Some people just have to tell them, stop being stupid, right? Stop being stupid.
Do we really want to word it like that?
Yeah, that's the only way they'll get it. I mean, the videos we've seen, and not just here, it's good to know it's not just in the Bahamas. The people in Florida clearly have some serious issues. Right? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You can barely see the top of that house. Why do you think you should drive through that street?
In your sports car that's low to the ground. I don't know.
Right? So that's the only thing.
And mind you, you see other cars that are bigger than yours have stalled out, but
or floating. Right.
But you figure it's not going to happen to me.
Yeah. So you got to say it. Stop being stupid. But okay. Anyway. All right. So hopefully, as you heard, a few more days of this. But I see they're saying the Saharan dust will make a return on the weekend, and that's going to help to dry up things, and that'll be good. That'll be good. So keep that in mind. Okay. So, as JT was saying, there's a lot of negative news this weekend, and we're going to get into it this morning. And as he said, there's some other news. There's a lot of exciting things happening, some scary things happening, not negative, but you have to wonder. We're going to get into that in the business hour as well. All right, so the horrible story. This is just frightening and tragic. The plane crash from folks who went down for the Long Island Regatta, the first one in 2 years, and people went down there to have a good time. And went all over the country to have a good time. And on the way back, trying to get home early, and this plane that went down, 7 people on board. But tragically, one person would lose her life, a young mother, 22-year-old Alethea Newbold, who had a 6-month-old daughter. And there are pictures of this beautiful young woman and her daughter in the papers today, and it's just
heart-wrenching.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a fantastic story in here in today's Nassau Guardian from our Jasper Ward, speaking to family and all those who were just on the edge of their seats as a result when we hearing about this on Sunday morning, and unbelievable. But wow. And you can imagine what this is like for the folks who are also on the plane.
Right.
Right.
Because there are other people sustained injuries as well. So
yes, to go down a plane crash, almost everybody's worst nightmare.
Right.
And to know that somebody on the plane died, and that you came so close, probably. Just that's something that you will live with always, forever. And man. Wow. So the investigation continues now into what led to this. They're saying that weather likely was not so much of a factor, but the investigation will continue. Well, at least at that time, not necessarily a factor. But a good portion of the country seeing rain all weekend. But you can read today's National Guardian to hear what the family members are saying, and just it's difficult. It's difficult to read. But here is the latest on what the investigation is looking at. The Aircraft Accident Investigation Authority saying it was notified about the crash shortly after 9 a.m. and an emergency response was initiated by the Police Force, Defense Force, the Airport Authority. Senator Tyrell Young was among the first to arrive at the crash site. Young said he arrived about 15 minutes after the crash. By that time, Newbold had already died. Senator Young recalling, quote, the first officers who were on the scene had already covered her. She was already out of the plane and covered. Everything just happened quickly. We just were trying to get the injured survivors to the cleared area in the bush where we could sit them down and get them oriented. They were disoriented. In the bush, we also had the doctor who was the first on the scene. He started doing the assessment once we got them to the clearing. He described the scene as surreal. He said first responders had to clear about 1.5 miles of bushes, so the survivors had a path to walk back to the road where other doctors and nurses were waiting to assess them. He said, quote, the victims obviously were very shaken. All of them were in pain. We tried to comfort them as best as possible. We had a few of the folks who came in with us start to slash the bushes to make a track for them to walk back because they were in so much pain, they were unable to bend or maneuver in ways that it would have taken normally to get back out of the bushes. The survivors were given preliminary medical assessments and care on Long Island. Injuries included suspected fractures, concussions, and various lacerations. The survivors were taken to New Providence in U.S. Coast Guard helicopters on Sunday afternoon. Nervous relatives and friends flooded the airport as they waited for the helicopters to arrive at 2 p.m. Among them was motivational speaker and talk show host Spence Finlayson. Finlayson said his daughter called him not long after the aircraft crashed to let him know that she was okay. He said she asked him to call the authorities for assistance. Minister of Public Works and Utilities Alfred Sears and his wife, attorney Marion Bethel, were also present at the airport with their family as they awaited the arrival of their daughter Naya. They did not speak to reporters at the airport, but Sears released a statement on the crash. He said he and his wife received a telephone call from their daughter's friend, Alicia Roll, who informed them of the plane crash at around 9:20 a.m. Sears saying, quote, surely you can imagine it truly left us all shaken. However, we are immensely grateful to God for sparing the lives of our loved ones, as we are taught as believers in God that in all things give thanks. Sarah said the rescue of the survivors was difficult and courageous. He thanked former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, who had called him to request assistance with a constituency concern in Killarney for his quick telephone call to Roll to render telemedical assistance to survivors. Now, the Air Accident Investigation Authority Chief Investigator, Captain Delvin Major, appealing to the individuals who were on board the aircraft to reach out to the authority because they want to get the details on what happened. He said, quote, first of all, the purpose of our investigation is not to blame anybody, but to find out what happened to prevent it from happening again in the future. All right. Boy. And again, our prayers go out to the family of Alethea Newbold. We don't even know what we can say.
Right. Beyond that, what can you say?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Wow. And our prayers for the recovery of the survivors.
Everyone,
well.
yes.
Yeah. All right. Let's hear what you have to say, folks. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Laverne.
Hi.
Good morning.
Hi. Morning. First of all, my deepest sympathy goes out to the family who lost a young lady on the weekend. But Dwight, question. Have you ever heard about any helicopter port anywhere downtown or other than that airport? Because as I watched the ambulances, them lined up and the family members, don't you think maybe we need to start thinking but somewhere nearer that they can actually build probably some helicopter support, maybe a decent rate or something, so it's not
Closer
too
to the
far
hospital.
from the hospital?
Well, that's an interesting idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to start thinking that way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But the airport is like 15 miles away. So
Right.
maybe if they listen, that's something that they can actually, put in their agenda. All right?
That's a good
y'all have a great day.
Good idea. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
You too.
We know. Yeah. There's a lot of traffic and
Right.
flooding and all kinds of things that could. Yeah.
There's something, Dwight, in your report that stood out. I don't know. At the latter part of it just now, you said the police are asking the people who were involved in the crash to reach out to them.
The AAIA, the Aircraft Accident Investigation Authority. Yeah, they're asking.
Wouldn't, I don't know. I don't know how it works. I just figured they would have access to the people who were on the plane.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess not.
Yeah, it just seemed like an odd request.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Certainly something to think about. Yes. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
Good morning to the lady from the north.
Good morning.
You know, Dwight, that caller just before me, he was here. Dwight, for the past 15 years, I was saying that we could have a helicopter land and port right there by the whole education building, You know what I mean? Right there by the education building. They get the land space, they could expand the hospital, go up in the sky and all. But, people like us who got all the ideas and they don't listen. And that's all there, right, all the traffic. I rode by the 43 yesterday to get some crab for me and one of my friends. And here it is, right, my tire bust, man, and one of those holes. I had to drive straight to my room, straight to that tire shop, man. When do you can fix this country, Dwight? I'm trying to take my call.
Yeah. Well, I mean, things like that will happen, right? It's the length of time that it takes for it to get fixed. So heavy rain and flooding, we almost expect that to happen. But if it's there 2 weeks from now, a month from now, that's when you can justifiably ask that type of question. And we've seen that before, right? We've seen that before, but hopefully it won't be like that. Hopefully that will get addressed as soon as the flooding subsides and people can get to it and the rain lets up. All right, this text here, well, you heard what the Department of Meteorology said. You heard what Giselle Mather told us. It's just, typical rainy season weather. The texter's asking, Dwight, any word on school closures for today due to the rain? Don't hold your breath, apparently. If they're going to say it's just the rainy season.
Right.
And then
That's right.
Yeah, oh boy. Hey, man, there's only a couple weeks left in the
I don't
school
think
year.
we're going to have any school closures.
And they've closed school enough for this year.
Yeah.
They've closed school
if
enough.
I'm not mistaken, students are taking exams.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Don't count on that one. We've missed enough. Just raincoats, umbrellas, galoshes if you have them, the boots,
Right.
whatever
Try
you
to
got.
stay dry.
Yeah.
But they're going to school.
We gotta go to school. Gotta go to school. It's streets flooded. They are flooded. So yeah.
But the difficulty, we know they're not going to cancel school, but there are just going to be some people who are unable to navigate through all of the water to even get their children to school, maybe,
It's going to be a difficult morning. It definitely is. Some parts. This person says here, Dwight, yes, this rain will saturate the island for sure, especially how some foolish people continue to cut down the pine trees. Well, it's everything. The trees,
Yeah.
the hills, as our guest said. We're cutting down everything, it seems. This texter says, why do these people in these small cars drive through 10 feet of water?
That is such a good question.
It's not just the small cars. It's the people in the big trucks do it too. They speed through. They think because they're big trucks, they can do it.
Right.
So
But
we've got it all on both sides.
they have I think those in the big trucks, they have a better chance of successfully navigating the water.
Mm-hmm.
But it really is the small cars that do it for me. There was I was watching the news, and there was I think it was Florida news, and there was a Corvette.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the top, you could only see, I guess, the way that the person had their tires. It was higher in the back than the front. So the top of it was just covered in water.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking around, like I said, and I'm seeing these bigger cars, these SUVs who've stalled out, and I'm wondering why? Like, what happened? Why were you going where you were going?
They were disoriented by the rain, and perhaps it, and you really can't tell. I mean, if you're driving in the dark, especially this morning, I mean, you couldn't tell what was a road and what was a field, and the most open spaces on my way in are lakes right now. And so you could get confused. You might think that was a street. You didn't know it was a canal, that kind of thing, And so you might, what am I seeing? Is that what I'm seeing? If your headlights are dim, you might have looked like it was regular highway. So we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. But otherwise. Good morning. Caller, you're on the air.
Yes, good morning to you, Dwight, and good morning to Ms. Gardner.
Hi.
Alan Johnson. Yes, just to be very safe for those individuals in Grand Bahama and Abaco that had to seek solace under their trees to avoid the rain in their homes.
Did that happen under the trees?
Well, we have about 11,000 homes that is not dried in yet. The government has promised to fix 2,500 of them. That hasn't happened yet because we don't have the resources of the commitment of $24 million or $24 to $40 million, but there was only $1.6 million based on my analysis that's left in the budget to do that amount of work. So the work definitely has not done. Many works in Grand Bahama hasn't been repaired. Roof haven't been repaired since 2004, for the last 18 years. And in Abaco since Dorian, and for Grand Bahama and Abaco only cost a greater expansion of the need for rehabilitation, which brings me to the point that you ask people calling and asking, is concerning the preparation of our country in our development. Simple point to you, Dwight, if you need $2.50 to do a repair on a daily basis, and every day you spend $1.40, do you know what happens after 10 days? You are now $14 behind in your repairs, not counting any additional damage that happens from your failure to repair it the first time. Now I want you to times that by that, replace the $1 and I want you to say 1 billion, 1.4 billion. So when you look at what we're spending in the country, and so essentially we've not have an actual analysis of what has to be done for actually up to par for the last 10 to 20 years. So what we have been basically doing is buying buckets. We have not had the growth that is necessary because we're using the same old archaic methods in the 21st century. And so we've had anemic growth of our economy to generate the capital, the taxes, etc. is needed. If you look at the budget, we'll say we need $3 billion. We have $500 million of infrastructure repair. Then we'll do $200 million worth of infrastructure repair. Still come short $500 million, even though we didn't spend $300 million. And then we say, oh, great, we have met our deficit spending goals because we didn't spend $300 million and we still committed exactly what we predicted. But it doesn't say the fact that we haven't done anything. So just saying this right. We need a complete audit of our country, the needs in New Providence, Grand Bahama. We're now talking about global warming, climate change. We say we're going to be leaders in the blue economy, green economy, orange economy. All these things involving global impact. We haven't done anything to negate our contribution to it. We haven't, like you say, in the country, we haven't done anything to offset it. We're going to be global leaders. And so what we need to do is have a real conversation concerning the absolute needs of national development, an actual look of our economy so we can actually know exactly where we need to go, the growth we need to actually maintain or catch up on the
Absolutely.
repairs rather than the daily, again, like I say, sound bites that we have. So hopefully, maybe we can, in spite of the tragedy that surrounds us every single day, we can actually look at what else needs to be done, considering governance requires 24-hour maintenance, not 9 to 5 like our leaders do.
Excellent. Yeah, we definitely agree with you on that. He said something that reminded me of something I wanted to talk about, Laverne. Right, taking shelter of the trees. All right, so you know that in everybody knows it. You think everyone knows this, right? In thunderstorms, lightning, don't go into trees.
Right.
Right? I mean, do we tell our young kids this, though? I mean, over the weekend, during some of that heavy lightning and thunderstorms and stuff, I was driving and I saw some people, younger people, they weren't kids, but they were younger, said, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I don't know if we really have those kinds of conversations, to be honest with you. There may be some, but I know growing up, we never had it. That's something that you saw on television. And so from that, you learned, okay, so this isn't a good idea. But I don't really know if we have those kinds of conversations where we say, if there's lightning and thunder along with rain and you need to seek shelter or coverage, don't go here. This is dangerous. This would be a safer place. I don't know if we have those conversations.
Really? And, oh boy, okay. My dad used to be, oh man, paranoid. So don't be on the phone, turn off the TV, unplug this, unplug that, don't do this.
I mean, in that part of it, you would have,
But I don't know if that's going on
But
there either.
I don't know. I grew up when it was too much lightning and thunder, you started to unplug stuff, especially if the power dipped. Right?
Well, that's
but that was
happens
more
on a sunny
so-
day here. But go on, yeah.
That was more so to protect the appliance. I don't recall us ever getting into conversations about, hey, this is dangerous and you want to be careful where you go, other than maybe if you're young and you hear lightning, if you hear thunder, you see lightning, you're panicked and it's like, oh, but I don't know if we have those. Like
Something's wrong. I don't know what our kids are doing or what we're doing with our kids, because we're not passing on these life lessons that we all learned. I tweeted about this the other day, that there were tons of people at the beach in the water and there was forked lightning. Nobody was moving. I'm like, are you people okay? So something is wrong. Something is wrong.
But we tend to be a very reactive set of people. And unfortunately, we see it happening, but I don't know. It's something about us where we think that it isn't going to happen to us until it does happen to us or happens to someone close to us. And then we have a healthy respect for whatever that thing is. I find that's how we are. Up until it happens to someone very close to us or it happens to us, we don't necessarily regard warnings to be more. Think about that. Yeah.
And good manners, we're losing that too. I mean, I think I don't, the number of people you see with gentlemen not walking on the outside, walking on the inside of the lady that they're with. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
A lot has changed, and I don't know. I see that too. The manners thing, it really gets me.
Yeah.
It really gets me.
Oh boy. All right, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, a lot more to talk about, including that tragedy with the teenager shot dead during a game. Yeah, here we go again. This is Morning Blend on a Tuesday morning after a long holiday weekend here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Gets knocked down. The only thing that matters is what you're gonna do when you get up now. Get up now. Get up now. Get up now. Get up. The only thing that matters is what you're gonna do when you get up. The only thing that matters is what you're gonna do when you get up.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
$7:35 time for your first look at traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. For all of life's moments, there's one Visa Classic credit card in your real-time traffic. Reminder, the streets are wet and some are flooded, so keep that in mind. Take your time. Do not speed through, and especially in neighborhoods where you could push water into people's homes. All right, so in your real-time traffic, we're seeing a number of hot spots. We've got Carmichael Road westbound, heavy traffic west heading toward Coral Harbor Road, and Coral Harbor seeing some heavy traffic as well. There might be some flooding in the area, so keep that in mind. That whole Coral Harbor Road area seeing some heavy traffic and slow going for you. Elsewhere, we've got Blue Hill Road. The closer you get to Tonic Williams Darling Highway, you'll see that, but definitely not all the way down to Fire Trail like we normally see at this hour. Just as you get closer to Harold Pond, you'll see that traffic. Glass Road looking better for you as well. Slow going, but not bumper to bumper until you get closer to JFK Drive. Where we do have bumper to bumper is Robinson Road between Soldier and Old Trail. That's westbound mainly. And at the major intersections along Prince Charles Drive, building traffic on Eastern Road westbound. And Blue Hill Road, just as you get over that hill, heading toward Independence Drive northbound there. Those are your hot spots for now. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and pin security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Expenses and apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic. 7:37, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by BTC. We have a new severe weather warning, a thunderstorm warning just in effect from 7:30 until 9:30 a.m. That's in for portions of the central Bahamas, well, northern Exuma Keys and central and south Eleuthera. According to the Department of Meteorology, their lightning detection radar and satellite imagery depicting a broad area of showers and embedded thunderstorms moving northeastward toward and across these areas. Showers will be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times, causing strong gusty winds, dangerous lightning, heavy downpours, and possible waterspout or tornado activity, localized flooding or storms. And it's been a busy weather weekend, and multi-level troughing combined with streaming tropical moisture extending across the country will continue to produce showers and thunderstorms through tonight. Again, the threat of waterspouts and funnel cloud activity, that continues, and there's also the potential for a few strong to severe thunderstorms. And expect more flooding as the ground is already saturated and everyone's being asked to take necessary precautions, especially in low-lying and flood-prone areas. So, for today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, we're looking at partly cloudy to cloudy, humid, and breezy conditions with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms on and off through tonight. Some showers will be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. For the southeast Bahamas, variably cloudy and warm with a chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms possible through tonight. Temperatures getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 75 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. In your extended outlook, streaming tropical moisture along with low-level troughing expected to linger across the islands over the next few days, keeping conditions mostly cloudy, wet, and humid. High pressure should begin building by the end of the week. So for tomorrow, Wednesday, partly cloudy with a few scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, breezy in the southeast Bahamas. Thursday, partly cloudy with a few scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. In the tropics, tropical cyclone formation not expected during the next 5 days. That's your morning blend weather check, brought to you by BTC. With BTC Business, you get more than reliable business connectivity. BTC gives you smart solutions. You need to reinvent your business and thrive so you can come back stronger and more connected than ever before. BTC knows running a business is more than a full-time job. With their new 24/7 digital help desk, any technical issue you may encounter in getting the job done. And BTC is by your side, helping to promote your business to a new audience online. Give them a call, 302-7200, or visit business.btcbahamas.com.
That's my heart beating and I'm breathing there. I'll fight for me, we'll fight anytime, anywhere. And I'll never back down from it. That's not coming. I just attack from the front and on that scratch just nothing. No, yeah. Oh Lord, I can't stop now. I give my all and still ain't enough. Everybody gets knocked down. The only thing that matters is what you're gonna do when you get up now. Get up now. Get up now. Get up now. Get up. The only thing that matters is what you're gonna do when you get up. The only thing that matters is what you're gonna do when you get up. The only thing that matters is what you're gonna do when you get up.
RBC has been growing with the Bahamas for over 110 years. We are committed to deepening our relationship with existing clients and forging new ones in the future. With investments in youth, education, and environmental initiatives, we're dedicated to helping you and our communities grow.
We're here to help you flourish. We're RBC.
RBC Royal Bank.
Around the world, Cleveland Clinic is recognized as a leader in healthcare. Our team of experts relentlessly pursues the best for our patients. From groundbreaking cancer research to life-saving innovations happen here every day. When it's time to travel for your health, it's time to travel to Cleveland Clinic. Your destination for care, for every care in the world. To learn more, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
You're always on the go. We know life can be a daily rush. CIBC, First Caribbean, you can count on us. We make life easier. Manage your accounts at any time. Apply for a loan. It's easy when you bank online. We make life easier with choices that suit you. CIBC, First Caribbean.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
We know how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
Doctors Hospital's Pharmacy introduces a new spin on prescriptions called Pick Up Now, Pay Later. That's right, you can collect your medications first and pay after. How does it work? Step 1, submit a prescription online. Step 2, select the pickup site. Step 3, collect your medication. And Step 4, pay online within 14 days. For more info, call us at 242-302-4785 or visit us at doctorshosp.com.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Holding me back, gravity's holding me back. I want you to hold out the palm of your hand. Why don't we leave it at that? Nothing to say, and everything gets in the way. Seems you cannot be replaced, and I'm the one who'll stay. Oh, in this world, sisters, not the same as it was, as it was, as it was. We know it's not the same. Answer the phone.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner on this Tuesday morning. We are talking about what's in the news, a lot of sad stories in the news this morning, and also talking about how things just aren't the same as they were. Other people talking about this as well, Laverne, saying, what's happening? This one says here, don't go under trees. I saw some people in the water with lightning flashing all about. I think we've lost a lot of our historical knowledge. If you drive in the heart of Baintown, you'll notice something strange. There are many houses built on at least a 3-foot foundation. These houses would have been built about 100 years ago. What did they experience to prompt them to put houses at least that high? Nowadays, the average foundation is 1 foot off the ground. Yeah. 100 years ago or more, there were places that people refused. Right? There's some islands that people did inhabit, and now we've got major populations there. And you have to wonder, why didn't they do that? I want to say something, but I don't want to offend Laverne. But,
Just say it. Go ahead and
just
say
saying,
it.
150 years ago, where you are right now, people weren't living. But they were living on other parts of the island. But just saying, there's perhaps a reason that people weren't there.
Absolutely. There was a reason.
There's a reason. And every year around this time, June to November, we kind of see the reason. Perhaps. But can't let that get in the way of progress.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so people, kind of said, okay, there are more people. People want homes and we build in areas that years ago no one built it because they recognized that there was serious flooding.
And other issues.
Yeah. All in the name of, as you call it, progress.
Yeah. Caller would come to you in a second. This texter says, Dwight, I'm in Coral Harbor. Can the radio station send a submarine so I can get to work on time because a boat or jet ski won't work? Oh, dear.
Oh, my.
I mean, we can see the traffic on our traffic portal. It's looking bad out there. So I guess things are really, I've heard, it is pretty bad out there, Coral Harbor. And, oh, boy. Yeah. Haven't heard anything from Pinewood. How's it going in Pinewood, folks? Let us know. Because everywhere else got the rain. But, boy. They also acknowledge not to go underneath a tree during a lightning storm. And another place not to go during a lightning storm is by the Sweetheart's house. Just a stupid idea. Oh, is it? Maybe that's my generation.
I was not ready.
No, did you know, though? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that was it. I did not know.
So that one skipped us, too.
So when you're having this conversation with your child, how do you say that?
What's the reason, Texter? Tell us what's the reason. Okay. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Laverne.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning, Bahamas. Good morning, Bahamas. Yeah, as regards to people, standing under trees and staying in the sea when it's thunder and lightning, I think Laverne got it right. It has to do with chances. Many people think it's not going to be them.
Oh.
And you know why she's right? Because in our Bahamas today, before you get struck by lightning, you would more likely get shot and killed.
Oh, gosh.
Okay?
Oh,
Thank you.
Wow. Oh, boy. Well, that is...
But we can't even say that's not true.
Yeah, no, we can't.
That is very true.
And that does lead us to the other big story.
Right.
Any other weekend, this would have been, I guess, the biggest story, but so many things happening. But it's just another one of those, right? Another child murdered in the country. That's not uncommon around here, sadly. And people talked about it for a couple minutes on Friday, and then that was it. They moved on. Well, for the family of Quentin Danny McKenzie, they won't be able to move on. The 13-year-old student of LW Young shot and killed in a park on Kemp Road just before 8 p.m. on Friday, pronounced dead at the hospital Candia Dames writing about it in today's Nassau Guardian. Mackenzie, who loved baseball, video games, and hanging with his friends. His family now left with many questions. His father, Quincy Mackenzie, says Quentin would have turned 14 on June 22nd. The father says he understands his son was shot in the neck and that a bullet also grazed his jaw or his mouth. Police say the boy was shot multiple times about the body. Police reported that they were alerted by a shot spotter of multiple gunshots in the area of Williams Lane off Kemp Road. Quentin was transported to the hospital via ambulance. His father says that when he was shot, he had money in his hands. He told the Nassau Guardian, quote, "That put a little twist on the story, and many people thought he was gambling. It was a gambling game, but it wasn't involving him. He works at Super Value, and they got off early because it was a holiday. And so instead of him going home, he stopped at the park, and he saw his two brothers there, and he was counting the money, and they said all of a sudden they heard gunshots." Mackenzie said the boys reported that everyone ran, and it wasn't until after the shots stopped that they realized that Quentin was not with them. They went back to the scene to see where Quentin had run off to. His father said they did not expect that he would be dead, but met him lying on the ground. The boys ran home to tell their mother, who had heard the shots. The father was in Exuma, where he said he only recently relocated for work. He said, quote, "I was trying to call him, but I guess during the time I was trying to call him, he was dead."
Oh, my.
Mackenzie said Quentin's mother called him to tell him he was shot. He said, quote, "She was just screaming, 'Oh, they shoot your child, they shoot my baby.'" He said he couldn't even respond. He said he told his co-workers that his son was taken to the hospital. And he said, "I said to myself, the ambulance doesn't take dead people, so I felt some type of hope." One of my coworkers was in a group, and the photos came to the group, and she showed me the pictures and said, quote, "You said this boy in the hospital? This boy is dead." Oh, my goodness gracious.
What?
I saw the photos and I started to scream. Okay. Okay, folks. See, this goes back to what we were talking about, people with no decency and manners. What are you doing? Why would you do that? Why would you?
We have become so desensitized.
Oh. He goes on to say,
"Why?
I don't understand it. I don't understand. How could you be so cold? What type of..." Quote, "I caught the flight out first thing the next morning. His mother never told me he had died. I knew he was shot. I knew it was serious, but I still had some kind of hope." Because he says when he realized his son was really gone, he understood why he had not answered his phone. "I started wondering, why did I come to Exuma? This is a holiday. We probably would have been on the beach." Everything started flashing back. Mackenzie said he has loads of videos of his son, some of which he had posted on social media. The videos show happy times, a boy riding his bike and laughing with friends. He said his son was on the honor roll all through primary school, but junior high was a bit difficult because he went there during the pandemic. He said that Quentin loved sports and wanted to go to college one day. He said, quote, "He was a happy child." He said his son, who had 7 brothers between both his parents, had said that one day he would buy his mother a house and buy one for his father as well. Police said yesterday they had a juvenile male in custody assisting with the investigation into the boy's murder. Quentin's father saying, quote, "They had 19 shots. They said 19 shots were fired, and he got 2. So it's obvious the shots were all over the place." Wow. Wow.
What are we supposed to say after that, Dwight? I don't know what to say. What happened, we already said.
And it's not changing anything.
No.
Right? What is it now? We're averaging what? Once every quarter, once every 2 months, we are talking about a child getting killed.
Yeah.
And what? What will happen? The more we talk about the guns and the love of guns in the country, the more the people want. When are we going to get it? When are we going to wake up? When are we going to realize that taking photos and sending them all over the place, sending the right?
Can we just...
When are we going to get that is ridiculous? Come on, stop this. And that you could so casually show somebody, this your
Their
child?
child. That's the part. Like, it wasn't even done innocently. To say, oh my goodness, look what happened, and you're just showing the photograph, and it happens to be his son.
Yeah. Let's see if we can squeeze this call in. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Golly, they just talking voice along with you and your co-host, Dwight.
Hey.
Hello?
Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, Dwight. We need good leaders in this country. Our leaders are not ready for this country. Sometimes you call the police and the police don't want to come. They doesn't come. That's not leading. You know what I'm saying, right? You go around the neighborhood. This country is so filthy. It needs cleaning up. The streets need to be paved. It's indecent in this country. So time.
Okay. Yeah, as a previous caller said, I mean, I guess you got to take a chance, eh? Lightning, what is that? That's a joke.
Yeah.
Bullets are much more likely to get you here. Much, much more. And this will be the thing that people will talk about the least today, I guarantee you, of all the things that happened over the weekend.
You know, for them, that's all. The shock of it. You know what I mean? The shock of it is already taken place, and so...
Well, shock, I don't even know if it's shock. It's just, the typical response, and then you move on. We're back after the news, folks. Stay with us.
Nobody's coming to help. Your daddy lives.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back. Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. And now at 8:23, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. A lot's been happening weather-wise, and a lot will continue to happen, at least for the next few days. We've got multi-level troughing combined with streaming tropical moisture extending across the Bahamas that will continue to produce showers and thunderstorms through tonight. In fact, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning in effect now until 9:30 this morning for portions of the country. We've got northern Exuma Keys and central and south Eleuthera under that thunderstorm warning. And they can expect some severe weather over the next few hours. So all of this is a result of that multi-level troughing, and we are seeing increased threats for waterspout and funnel cloud activity. Also, the potential for a few strong to severe thunderstorms and more flooding in low-lying and flood-prone areas. For today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, look for partly cloudy to cloudy, humid, and breezy conditions with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms on and off through tonight. Some showers will be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. Smallcraft caution in effect for the northwest Bahamas. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers and thunderstorms. For the southeast Bahamas today, look for variably cloudy and warm conditions with a chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms possible through tonight. Again, gusty winds and higher seas expected in or near showers and thunderstorms. Temperature-wise today, we're looking at highs getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight low 24 Celsius. Currently, it's about 76 degrees in Nassau, light rain in parts of New Providence. In your extended outlook, streaming tropical moisture along with low-level troughing expected to linger across the islands over the next few days, keeping conditions mostly cloudy, wet, and humid. High pressure should begin building by the end of the week. For today, or tomorrow, Wednesday, look for partly cloudy conditions with a few scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Breezy in the southeast Bahamas. By Thursday, partly cloudy with a few scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Again, we're expecting drier conditions as we head to the weekend as Sahara dust will move into the area. And I'm sure many are looking forward to that. In the tropics, tropical cyclone formation not expected during the next 5 days. That's your morning blend weather check. Weather check brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Still the first and only local insurance company and agency network that lets you buy car and home insurance 100% online. Try it at bahamasfirst.com. And time for another look at traffic brought to you by Moments. There's one Visa Classic credit card. In your traffic, the streets are wet and flooded, and keep that in mind, folks. We're begging people to drive with care and caution and courtesy. Lots of reports already of people speeding through flooded streets and splashing other drivers and even pedestrians and pushing water into people's yards and homes. So please have some decency out there. We're seeing lots of issues as a result of flooded streets, especially in the Coral Harbor area. Carmichael Road westbound, heavy traffic backed up heading toward that roundabout, Coral Harbor Road. And Coral Harbor Road, just not a pleasant place to be. The traffic is backed up all the way down to the beach, basically, and north of the roundabout, heading toward the airport. So that's a place you might want to avoid. Some of the other streets in the area are seeing traffic as well, including Frank Watson Boulevard, both directions, Western Road, both directions, and Windsor Field Road, possibly due to flooding as well. West Bay Street also seeing some issues out east of Love Beach. So some traffic in places we don't normally see traffic as people try to avoid the traffic and the flooding. Elsewhere, Milo Butler Highway seeing heavy traffic now from Fire Trail up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway. That's in northbound lanes. Glacier Road looking like a better alternate route for you, but the closer you get to JFK Drive, you'll see that heavy traffic northbound. Blue Hill Road also heavy north of Soldier Road on the way to Independence Drive. And then we've got pockets along Robinson Road. So Robinson near East Street, westbound toward that intersection, and near Robinson and Marathon East-West Highway, the intersection there, and Robinson near Old Trail. Then we've got Prince Charles Drive, the major intersections, heavy traffic near Elizabeth Estates, near Foxhill Road, and near Beatrice Avenue. And Eastern Road, San Souci, all the way up to Johnson Road, pockets along Shirley Street as well, westbound. So that's what we're looking at. You will need your patience this morning. So make sure you have it. And that is your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and pin security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses and apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Sing whoa, hear my plea, oh child. A song for my land. Rose up early this morning to the sounds of crying. Another mother shedding her tears. Oh, yeah. Why all the pain and suffering? Why all the...
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking with the Primary School Student of the Year Committee. They've got the Primary School Student of the Year Awards coming up this weekend, and we're going to find out more about that. And we're going to meet the winner next week on the show, but we're going to get the details about what to expect this weekend in just a few minutes. Of course, before the break, we were talking about this a child again, another child murdered, shot dead, a 13-year-old boy, Quentin McKenzie. And we are once again trying to figure out what are we going to do here? What needs to happen? Nothing seems to change. Nothing. We keep talking and people make some noise. People have a prayer service, a vigil, and
Right.
then
And then after that,
yeah,
so what is it that we can do?
what are we prepared to do, right? Yeah, because everybody knows who's got the guns. They know they had that their family member has threatened, has warned that they do. The kids know where they are. All the kids know all the types of guns. Everybody seems to know that. Everybody's an expert. They can watch the American news and tell, what type of assault rifle was used to kill all the people in the mall or whatever it was. And they say, yeah, I know what that is. I'm like,
Meanwhile,
how
I'm
do you know?
completely lost.
Right. You're 10 years old. How do you know? But they know. They know. So we have a problem. But what are we doing? Let's hear from you really quickly, folks. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Some text messages. Someone says here, have we become only numb or cold to the ravages of heinous crime taking out so many young Bahamians, or have we become more oversensitized to drama and the thrill of making and telling sensational news? Okay. I don't know who the we is, but probably both.
It's both.
Both.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What are we going to do about it? This one here, it's not about taking pictures. This is on those who produce these guns. They must be held accountable. The U.S. Embassy must be held accountable for all of these guns coming into the country. Wow. Okay. Okay.
Is there a market for the guns, though?
I guess.
Right?
Are we going to hold them accountable for the obesity, too? I mean, there's lots of food coming in from companies that are based there. Should we?
And we have to
what are we
accept some
doing?
sort of responsibility, right? There's a market here for it. Somebody's purchasing them. So we have to be accountable. Why are we such a violent society? How did we get to a place that you could just, you're having an argument and you can just decide to open up fire, meaning you don't care who it hits. We have to look at us. Who have we become as a people? Why do we have such an appetite for violence in any form?
Yep.
In every form. Those people who know that the guns are there or whomever have the guns and where they're being hidden or how they're, why aren't you saying anything? So that is really what we need to look at, because if there wasn't a market for it, then would we have an issue?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not helping, and people are hearing about more armed robberies and gun violence and say, well, to protect myself, I need a gun. And there we go. And kids hear that too, that, you know, that boy at school's bullying you, you need protection. The knife ain't gonna cut it. You need to get a gun. And this is the same type of attitude. This passes on down from adults to kids, and we're seeing everybody is just obsessed.
It's what they're exposed to, Dwight.
Yeah.
It isn't just the telling of it. It's the watching it.
Yep.
It is the games that, excuse me, have it, or the playing of it. It is everything.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. This text is saying the same thing. It's not, okay, yeah, that's the same one there. It's the video games. It's the video games. All these video games. Another one, the video games have a lot to do with it. Crimes among teens. The games, along with the law having no teeth. We will continually see the negative results. Another text here. Well, this is back to the other issue. Why do people find the need to circulate photos of dead people? There needs to be a law against that.
Yes, that right there. I have an issue with that. People who know me, no, don't send me any videos, photos. I don't want to see it of dead bodies, of people bleeding, violence. Dwight, I don't want to see fights. But again, there's an appetite for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? When you get it, people aren't deleting it. They're continuing to share it. Some people thrive on that. They want to see it. But it is cruel.
Mm-hmm.
You can't control where it goes, so you don't know if it's going to end up in the hands of the victim's family. It is one thing for you to hear that your son was shot. You are kind of just trying to keep yourself together by saying, well, you know, the ambulance took him. Yes, his son was dead, but you know, you're just trying to keep yourself hopeful, right? That my son is okay. And you say to your coworkers, my son is shot, but the ambulance came for him. And then I don't know if the coworker was thinking that they were going to get a medal. Then you go back to him and say, you sure? Because look at these photos.
That's awful.
Oh, why would you do that? Even if you had those photos, why would you? Dwight, if someone had, I would pretend like I didn't even have them.
Absolutely.
That was not a conversation I was going to have.
Absolutely.
So, you know, yes, there's an issue. We don't make guns here. And so we have an issue with guns coming into the country. Absolutely, 100%. But let's not just shift the focus and make that the only thing, as if guns are coming in and we're so helpless.
Yeah, that's
They're just
typical.
here.
We want to pass the buck, pass the blame, right? So blame
We
them.
have to look at ourselves, because there are people who are purchasing guns, there are people who are looking for guns, there are people who have guns and are willing to use it. So it is all of these things, and we bear the blame.
Let's see what these callers have to say. Good morning, you're on the air.
Yes, good morning. Good morning to both of you.
Hi.
Good morning.
I'm wondering why the government wouldn't change the laws and the penalties on people that commit crimes and are found with guns. When it comes to the trees, the fishes, the plastic, and everything, they could get it passed and done. It seems like, first of all, we got to put more of a value on human life, because people are dying every day from these gunshots, and nobody is changing the law to try and scare. But some people...
Well, I mean, there are laws, but what are you saying? The law should be what? What do you think the law should be?
And let's say you're caught with a handgun, you get 10 years. And then not only that, let me make another point. I think they should go into the schools more to catch this new generation that's coming. And you don't go once a year. You go once every 3 months, so it'll stay in them, and they learn the ramifications of shooting people. You got to show people that have been shot, people who do the shooting, and what happened to them.
Yeah.
How long they stay in prison, how their lives are ruined, most of them. And that is the only way for that to stick in their head.
Yeah. All right.
You can't go to the school once and don't go back no more in 10 years.
Yeah, that's a great
You
point.
make that a part of their curriculum, because this thing is out of hand, and it's the young generation that's doing it. It's not the old, middle-aged, and the older people.
Well,
And you would catch all the young people in school, most of them. So
okay.
make it a priority and stop teaching them to go to the moon, all these algorithms, all these equations, what they're never going to use again.
Well, I mean, we can do both, but some of them
but
will.
A lot of these things we spend time on, the pass, the BGZ and GCE, we don't use them no more. Nobody asks me about Abraham Lincoln yet, or the Queen, or the quadratic equation, or what delta H is in physics yet.
Well, you just went into a different field, but some people need to know that.
I don't hear nobody ask these things when I learned in high school.
Okay, well, I get you. I hear what you're saying. Boy. Anyway, just having this conversation with somebody a few weeks ago that the media, the movies and TV have done a grave disservice to the people of Earth, making you believe, James Bond and others, that once you get shot, just get up and run, you'll be okay. There are people who've been shot. I know quite a few have been shot, sadly, right? What type of country is this? I know several people have been shot, and decades ago, and to this day they are in pain every day of their life. It is not a game. This isn't like pinching somebody. And we're not, definitely, young people don't get it. I think a lot of old people don't get it. These are not things to be playing with. Aim for the foot? Okay. Yeah, my goodness. Yeah, your life will never be the same. Never. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, good morning. Are you there? No? Okay. This texter says the law should be followed and take away the dual citizenship from individuals who have it. What are we talking about here? What? According to the PM, they are primarily the ones smuggling the guns. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Morning, guys. This country of ours is a melting pot of ethnicity. What's happening? What am I missing? What did we miss? Did I zone out? I know it was a holiday weekend. I did some. But what's okay? Is that for this show? Oh, that's what's causing the gun violence? Oh, that's what you're saying.
Maybe that's the train of thought the texter is going with.
That's as crazy an argument as blaming the Americans for owning the gun factories. It's the same type thing. So only those people are the ones who are causing our people to want. They're the only ones who are getting shot. The only ones who are shooting people. The newcomers. Okay. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. That's a text.
People with guns kill people.
This one says here, you guys sound like Republicans. Huh? It's not the guns, it's the people or mental illness. It's the guns and one country allowing illegal guns to be trafficked through their country. We blame that country. That's foolish. You're very foolish. I'm sorry. That's not going to get you anywhere.
Wait, there's a level of responsibility. I don't care how many texters want to text in and talk about the different ethnicities, want to talk about we are violent people, and we make use of those tools available to commit acts of violence. That is what we do.
So folks,
And
you got to create a
we
new
have to just accept that.
a new group for us. Well, I don't know about you, Laverne, but for me. So I don't like guns. I hate them. Ban them all. Yeah. So that's not Republican. But also, it's the people. It's the people that are causing it. So which group are you going to put me in? Because it's none of them. It's the people, but the guns are a problem. So, right. So, yeah, there you go. Another one here. Dwight, those things they teach us in school that people say aren't used are being used by the smart kids who further needed to the furtherance of their education. The teacher sometimes has to teach the whole class in case a few of the slow ones blossom. Yeah, well, okay.
Well, let's not get sidetracked because the essence of what the caller was saying is that we need to put some more emphasis on this violence, the type of pain, what happens when you shoot a gun, what happens when a bullet pierces your body, all of these things, so that they understand it's not like what you see in the movies.
Right.
It's not like when you're playing the video games, you see in the movies, they shoot a gun and then they put it in their pants, they put it in their pocket. And my husband was explaining to me, he said, a gun is so hot, it would burn you. It is impossible to do that. But you see these things. And so that is what the caller is saying. Let's emphasize this, and more than once a year, more than when these tragedies happen, so that they understand really the ramifications of what you are doing.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Okay, we got to move on, but let me read these really quickly. This person says, we can do, but there's only one thing that we will do, and that is nothing until some major crimes affect a politician. Men run this nation, and we have failed this country, but women are also failing. They make up half the population, yet they cannot unite to compel the old guys ruling the country to pass better laws to make the country safer. I bet 80% of them follow some religious crap. That's their word. Religious crap that men lead and know everything. So, yep, we will do nothing. By the way, please don't mistake my previous comment for ill intent towards politicians. No, I didn't think that's what you meant. It is merely a statement of the fact that the reality is they do nothing unless it affects them, and the only people they can compel them to do something otherwise are the closest ones to them. Those closest to them, politicians make laws. They have access to the police and other sources of information that we do not know that can help to pinpoint where all the guns are coming from and where all the crime is. So, again, we're not saying don't crack down on illegal gun smuggling. Yeah, do it, absolutely, but don't just do that. You've got to reach out to the people, especially young people, and find out why they're so obsessed. Why are they so obsessed with the guns? What's that all about? Let's take this call really quickly. We've got to go to a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. Morning, Laverne.
Hi.
Let me try to contextualize my stuff very quickly here. Firstly, let me send condolences to the family of the young lady who died in a plane crash. Also, my sympathies also to the ill effects of the other family members who would have been on board that aircraft. Just want to send that out there. Dwight, as you can see this morning, apparently your callers and your texters are alluding to one very essential thing here, and that is that a lot of the myriad of social ills that we have that we are being confronted with are all interconnected. It is sad that in the G, it's like nothing is really being done to curtail anything, and the do nothingness that is the perception out here. The do nothingness means that the country is on autopilot. Nobody's really paying true attention to curbing curbing any of these social ills, and therefore we have to live with the end result of what we have today. I remember growing up very quickly here. We had a census board that would prevent certain criteria, especially geared towards children, to be aired or even be broadcast in any way, shape, or form to protect children. That is not happening today. In fact, the access to a lot of stuff in media is something that we as young children didn't have any access to. So I think we need to actually adopt some of the old practices that once was used and very effective. We need to adopt those practices again and try protect the children in particular at all costs. And that is where my mindset is this morning. I just wanted to share that, put that out there for a debate with many of us under the trees and so forth to see if we can come up with another possible solution that curb some of the social ills that we have in front of us.
Okay.
Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you very much. All right, we're going to take a break. Folks, don't let this conversation die there like that, right? We need to continue this. We need to get serious. This is how many for the year? How many children? How many murders have we talked about already for the year? This is insane. And we're just going to move on like nothing. Anyway, we'll be back. We're going to talk with the Primary School Student of the Year. Get a preview of that coming up. By the way, it is Prime Minister Philip Davis's birthday today, June 7th. He is 71 years old today. Happy birthday, Prime Minister. We'll be back. Stay with us.
You done look on all your gift. We done sing a happy birthday, and you done made a birthday wish. While my mind asking a question, Lord, I wonder who it will be. You give your first piece of birthday cake too. Oh Lord, my God, I pray that it's me.
Switch for better when you move your mortgage to Scotiabank. Leave behind that old mortgage plan and open the door to a low interest rate. No payments for up to 2 months and cash back of 2.5% of the mortgage amount up to US $10,000. And guess what? It gets better. Apply for your Scotiabank credit card and enjoy a low 9.99% introductory rate for the first 6 months. Switch for better and upgrade your mortgage today with Scotiabank. Offer ends June 30th, 2022.
Hey, Kaliko, I coming back, man. I gotta go in Lucha real quick to see my Grammy. She ain't feeling too good. Miko, you think you going away without me? And this little boy, this your little cousin, Miko? I go in. Kaliko, you know I ain't got enough money for a 3 years. Well, it's a good thing for you. Bahamas lessons fly free to the Outer Islands, Miko, with the 2 fly free promotion. Oh. You know that? Don't do it. Little boy, go pack up your stuff, yo. And you think I stupid, Miko? Your Grammy live in Long Island? Don't do it. I come in.
There is no better time than now to go on a family getaway to the Family Island. Go to BahamasResidence.com for more information.
You're always on the go. We know life can be a daily rush. CIBC, First Caribbean, you can count on us. We make life easier. Manage your accounts at any time. Apply for a loan. It's easy when you bank online. We make life easier.
Wake up today. Wake up, it's a new day.
And we are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And there's a lot going on in the country, a lot happening. We're getting to some more positive things at this time. The Primary School Student of the Year awards are fast approaching, and we're very pleased to get a preview this morning. We've got in studio Samantha Anderson, and we've got Cece LaFleur joining us remotely. Good morning, ladies. Great to have you with us. Good morning. Let's pull that mic right in front of you. All right. So, people, my goodness, how long has this been going on now? What year are you in?
The 26th year.
Wow.
The 26th year. Since 1997.
My goodness. Okay, the time is flying. 26 years. That's amazing. All right, so let's talk about it. For those who aren't familiar, I don't know how they wouldn't be. Cece, you're with us almost every year talking about it, but tell us about the Primary School Student of the Year Awards.
Yes, good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Bahamas. Thank you. As you stated, we're with you almost every year because you've been so courteous to allow us a platform during your program to share with the Bahamas about this prestigious program. It is a national awards recognition program, and it is for sixth graders in the Bahamas. As we indicated, it was established in 1997, and the sponsors of the program is by the Palmyra School Foundation, as well as in partnership with the Nassau Bahamas Pan-Hellenic Council. And that's the local coalition of historically Black fraternities and sororities.
All right, wonderful stuff. And we've had some bright, brilliant minds come out of this every year, and we're seeing that, right? Some of the students have already achieved unbelievable success.
Attorneys.
Yeah,
yes.
Yep.
They are still doing well. Our president and the founder, Dr. Ricardo DeVoe, continues to track them. And yes, they continuously make us proud. From the time they came in as sixth graders to post-collegiate.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great stuff. All right, so what can we expect? I know it's been a challenging couple of years for you. Tell us about the impact the pandemic has had. And now that we are emerging out of this, are we going to be seeing a return to what you were doing before the pandemic?
That's a great question, Dwight. And yes, the pandemic did impact us primarily as it relates to the program, the physical program itself. For the past 2 years, we've been unable to do the full program due to COVID protocols and restrictions. But this year, as the protocols have continued to ease a bit, we are going to actually be able to, we have 102 nominees this year. Isn't that wonderful?
That's
102
amazing.
nominees. Mm-hmm. And all of them will be able to come and participate in the program, unlike the past prior 2 years, into being able to invite 2 guests. So we certainly want to put that out to the Bahamas, that the students themselves are only allowed 2 guests. So historically, we've been open to the public pre-pandemic. But this year, again, 2 guests. It will be held this Saturday at 5 p.m. On Joe Farrington Road, the auditorium, and for the Church of God auditorium on Joe Farrington Road this Saturday at 5 p.m.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so 102 students. Wow, how do they, tell us about the nomination process. How do you become somebody who's a candidate to be Primary School Student of the Year? Samantha, you can tell us about that.
Okay, Dwight. So these outstanding sixth graders have been nominated by their respective schools. Letters were distributed to their principals, vice principal, and they were the ones to select these outstanding, brilliant sixth graders for the program. Of course, in the Bahamas, in the educational system, despite their color, creed, nationality, religious affiliation, whoever was the brightest and best of the school was selected to be amongst the brightest and best of the Student of the Year.
Wow. So does that represent 102? Is that every school or most of the schools? What are we looking at?
That is 64 public schools nominees and 38 private school nominees. So yes, there are 52 in Grand Bahama, Family Islands nominees, and 50 New Providence nominees. So that's the entire Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Yeah, that's pretty
And
impressive.
I would like to note, because the persons are doing the count, that actually, Dwight, every school is invited. 102 responded.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. All right. That's pretty good. So, what do you think are some of the criteria? What would make someone the Primary School Student of the Year for the entire Commonwealth of the Bahamas?
Well, like we said, they are the brightest and best. And so they are the students who will be involved, of course, topping the school in the activities, out of school community service activities, students who are outstanding throughout this entire school from the grades 4 through 6 level. And so schools, if you're out there listening and you hesitated to join us this year, just think about it. Recognize that child from now and groom them for 6th grade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cece, in preparing, I think we're going to meet the student on Monday on the show.
Yes.
And I have to brace myself every time we do this because these kids will show you up.
Yes.
I mean, they've written books.
Yes.
So I have to go and do my act right in front of the mirror over the weekend. I am worthy to talk to this student.
Yes. That is so true.
It's very impressive.
What were we thinking about in 6th grade?
Right?
They have nonprofit foundations. They're out doing community service. I'm like, and still maintaining high academic averages. It's amazing.
It is unbelievable. So what do you know about the students who are nominated this year? What do we have in there? How many future rocket scientists do we have?
Oh, probably all of them.
Yes, we have to say all, CC.
Absolutely. This is judged by an independent panel of judges, right? So we on the foundation are not involved in that process, nor what we want to be, because it's a really difficult decision. Because as you're saying, we do have rocket scientists, we have future doctors, lawyers, we have entrepreneurs, and given that, academically, they're pretty much all on par. They really look at the well-roundedness of it's very rare that anyone who actually enters the program is solely, an academic head, a nerd, right? They really are well-rounded. And you've met them each year. You actually had our current and reigning student of the year, Chelsea Smith, who represents Windsor. Her reign will be ending on Friday. And you met her last year. You've met so many of them, and they're stars.
Yeah. Amazing. And always fantastic parents behind them as well. And we salute all of these 102 nominees and their parents for getting through 2 very challenging years. Yes. And still maintaining these standards. That's pretty impressive there. We know that, right? Because some people definitely fell through the cracks. A lot of people did. But okay, so you said it before, CC. It's Saturday, Saturday at 5 p.m. What else will the students be doing leading up to that event on Saturday?
Yes, on Friday, Fusion will be hosting them. One of our main sponsors, Cable Bahamas, is actually the official host. And I do have to say, Dwight, given the pandemic, we know there's been a lot of economic, fallout. But corporate Bahamas has, come and showed out. They have showed out in supporting us. We are so happy to announce that every nominee, all 102, will walk away with a minimum of $1,000 scholarship. That is beyond.
Very impressive.
Yeah, so this year will be over $200,000 in scholarships and $50,000 in prizes. And for the duration of the program, we've given over $2.2 million in scholarships and prizes.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow is right. And we thank you. Thank you, Bahamas. We thank you.
Excellent stuff.
Beyond the student being nominated and it being submitted to, of course, the committee, is there anything else that the student, any other requirement?
Samantha, you want to take that?
Okay, so for the application process, the students, like I said, is coverage from 3rd grade to 6th grade. Of course, they'll have to present a 500-word essay. We give the certain topics, and they also have to attach a portfolio, and that includes all of their activities, all of their educational-wise structure, certificates, all of the things that will wow the judges for them to become a student of the year. Of course, letter of recommendations from the principal, vice principal, classroom teachers, civic organizations, like I stated. And so it's not just I am that student of the year, select me from the school. The portfolio and all of its contents makes you that student of the year.
Wow. All right. So it's not even like if you're in 5th grade, here's what you need to do for next year, because you should have been doing it already.
Correct.
Right?
From 3rd grade.
From 3rd grade.
Yes.
So what advice would you give to somebody who is maybe a parent, you've got children going in 3rd grade or 4th grade, or if you are a student in 3rd or 4th grade, what should you be doing right now if you are looking at this and like, I want to be the primary school student of the year?
As I stated earlier, groom them. Groom them, start building that portfolio. And, it's also wise to build a portfolio from 3rd grade, because by the time you get to 6th grade, not only for Student of the Year, you can use this for other organizations in terms of scholarships for 7th grade. And so I would just advise them to groom them, build that portfolio, compile that portfolio with things that you would definitely need to get towards the Student of the Year.
Yeah. And at this rate, it's never too early to start preparing for college and
it
beyond.
It is never too early.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So you got to keep that in mind.
Yes.
All right. So one more time, Saturday, only 2 guests per student nominated, right?
Yes.
But that's still a good number of people.
Yes. Correct. And also remember, every guest attending must show proof a vaccination or a negative COVID test within 48 hours range.
Okay. All right.
So it's a must for us. Safety is always first.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good stuff there. Cece LaFleur and Samantha Anderson, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you, Dwight.
And hope you all have a fantastic week. Hope those children have a great time. And we look forward to meeting the new primary school student of the year next week on the show.
Most definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We
All right.
appreciate your support.
All right. We're going to take a break for news. When we come back, Morning Blend Business, a lot to talk about, including NIB and rate increases and more. We'll get into that in just a bit. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Start of the new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Around the world, Cleveland Clinic is recognized as a leader in healthcare. Our team of experts relentlessly pursues the best for our patients. From groundbreaking cancer research to state-of-the-art heart surgery, life-saving innovations happen here every day. When it's time to travel for your health, it's time to travel to Cleveland Clinic. Your destination, every care in the world. To learn more, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
Breakfast just got better at Wendy's. Introducing the Breakfast Biggie Bag. Enjoy a double sausage muffin with 2 square sausage patties, a freshly cracked egg, and cheese served on a toasted English muffin, a medium waffle fries, and an orange juice for only $5.25, fat inclusive. Add an apple pie for just $1 more.
Say what?
At Wendy's, better breakfast is all day. Offers valid in participating locations. Wendy's, different inside and out.
RBC has been growing with the Bahamas for over 110 years. We are committed to deepening our relationship with existing clients and forging new ones in the future. With investments in youth, education, and environmental initiatives, we're dedicated to helping you and our communities grow.
We're here to help you flourish. We're RBC.
RBC Royal Bank.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find sex, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and carved body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, June 7th, 2022. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And this morning we're doing a business news roundup. There's a lot to talk about in the business world, and we're going to get into that this morning. And quite a few things to talk about, and including NIB and rate increases. And more. We'll get to that in a moment. Laverne, we hit a terrifying milestone here last week. One of the gas stations here, reaching $7.39 per gallon for gasoline.
Oh, my goodness.
that's...
I guess we're next.
And then we know the Family Islands, the other islands, are much worse than what we see in New Providence and Grand Bahama. So you can only imagine how high things are there. But we were freaking out about $8, but it looks like we may be getting close to 10 sooner than we thought. So very, very scary there. And it seems no end in sight.
No
end in sight to these prices going up and up and up. So really, really, really do have to make sure that you are wise with your travels and your vehicles. Whether, do you really need to go there? Can you do it remotely? Can you do it in a loop so that you don't keep going back and forth and traveling up and down unnecessarily, as is a lot of money being wasted, and just very sad and upsetting, actually. But hey. So keep that in mind, and that's one, so the others aren't going to be far behind.
Right.
And at all. So
is it $7? Has it reached the $7 mark at all of the different stations?
No.
Well, companies?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. So yeah. So we will see. We will see. The gas trackers are still printing the old prices, but we saw them at the stations over the weekend. So we will see what happens. We'll see what happens. Last week I told you about my ordeal at one of the stations with the leaking pump. Remember that? Yeah. It was Thursday. How I saw it dripping, and how when I questioned the station manager or the supervisor at the time, everybody was looking puzzled, like, oh, it's not a big deal. What's a big problem? And they offered me $1 in compensation because, I was breathing in $1 worth of gas. I don't know what are you going to give me for
you
$1?
lose $1 worth in fumes.
Right? But anyway, so I said, well, just tie this off so that people don't, until you fix it, at least do that. As I refused their generous $1 offer. My producer was saying he thinks that she meant a gallon. But no, there's no way. You can't mix up $1 and a gallon. Come on, what year is this? Anyway, but yeah, so Thursday, they were still pumping. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but Saturday, they put up a cone, finally. But the day after that, someone had moved the cone and someone was pumping there. It's like,
was it fixed?
Do you think it was fixed? Holiday weekend? Anyway, I don't know. But a warning to everyone, make sure, I know we like to sit in our cars and let the pump attendant do all the work, but you might need to check and see.
Yeah, just take a little peek,
Take a peek. It may be leaking as well, and you're not getting what you pay for. And we encourage the Standards Bureau to go out there and really check and see what's going on out there. That's some scary stuff. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous as well, right? Fuel leaking, it's not a good thing. Okay, so as we said, NIB in the news again. Our Travis Cartwright Carroll writing about it. While acknowledging it has decided not to deal with the issue of increasing the National Insurance Board contribution rate at this time, Minister of State in the Office of the Prime Minister, Miles Larota, who pointed to several other reform options for the fund, said the increase in the contribution rate cannot be circumvented. Larota said the issue is that the fund is expected to decline sharply in the next few years if reforms are not put in place. Larota speaking during the budget debate last week, saying, quote, one essential reform iterated and referenced in the previous actuarial review is an increase in the contribution rate. The Prime Minister had made a position, and the position of the government is that we will not visit that at this time until we have put our workers, in particular those at the lower end, and those businesses as they recover, in a position to do such an absorption. These are the facts, and facts are a stubborn thing. The national insurance scheme does not function independently of the national demographics. Larota says the 11th NIB actuarial report indicates how low fertility rates, and mortality rates in the Bahamas, and a steady flow of migration. Migration which way? Out of the country? He goes on to say, quote, in a social security system where contributions and employees pay to fund pension benefits, women having fewer children, coupled with an aging population, means that there are less individuals to meet the benefit demands of the scheme. In summary, the amount paid in benefits is increasing, the number of persons contributing to the scheme as a ratio is decreasing, thus the need for an increase in the contribution rate. The 11th NIB actuarial report warned that unless urgent 2028. LaRota says the report recommended a rate increase of 1.5% to 2% annually, biannually, for a period of time. The last NIB rate increase took effect after amendments to the National Insurance Act were introduced in 2010. The rate increased from 8.8% to 9.8% to facilitate the addition of NIB's unemployment benefit. It was the first rate increase since NIB was started in 1974. LaRota says the report also recommends, among other things, a modification of the pension accrual rate, the modification of the retirement age, and the modification of funding of the assisted benefits. He says, quote, again, these are the recommendations that have been made in the actuarial report. The government has made no decision as to when or if they will be implemented. The Prime Minister has decided that this government will not at this present time, deal with the increase. While these reform options will lessen the financial pressure on NIB in the long term, the increase in the contribution rate cannot be circumvented. According to LaRota, NIB is paying over 43,000 pensioners some $25 million each month. He said there's $1.5 billion in the fund as of December 2021. He first raised the issue of an increase in the contribution rate in April. He said then that he expected the rate to increase in the next year. However, a day later, Prime Minister Philip Davis said it's not going to happen. Davis said at the time, quote, the Minister of State is in my office was just speaking the facts as what was said in the actuary report. They are recommending and they are urging that we do so. As was his duty, he's bringing that report to Cabinet for us to look at and to discuss it. We will consider it, but insofar as views are on it, it's not going to happen. Not now, not until we have brought relief to our Bahamian people and we've put to bed some of the issues that can't make them sleep when they go to bed. In his budget communication on May 25th, the Prime Minister announced an increase in salary for most public servants as part of the government's strategy to cushion the impact of the global inflation crisis. The 2022-2023 budget includes a $56 million increase in wages and salaries. Okay, so some harsh news there, and a lot to think about. Declining birth
Dwight,
rate.
There's been no increase in 2010?
Since
2010?
No.
I thought there was.
No, not for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was for something else.
Some other things, yeah. That always confuses people. But yeah, it's only been one since 1974, back in 2010. The contribution rate. Ceilings and stuff change, but contribution rate. Yeah. So, we're in a serious predicament here. And again, people are having fewer children, and then the migration issue. I suspect, that one this might be both ways causing issues,
Maybe.
right? Both ways, people leaving
Right.
and they're not able to contribute, and more people coming in, and so the pressures are great. Let's get your views on it, folks. What needs to happen? How long can we wait before we do something? Right?
We don't have much time to wait. We've got what? Based on his estimation, in another 6 years, the fund will have been depleted.
If we continue like this, yeah.
If we continue like this. So, I mean, we can't, as they say, continue to kick this can down the road. The minister is doing all that he can not to burden taxpayers further, but what is the plan B then?
Yeah. Let's get your views on it. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. Is it just for this year, this fiscal period that we can say not right now, but next year?
I'm thinking by next year we're gonna have that announcement.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, and that's fine, but I think by next year, if not later this year, I think by next year we're gonna get an announcement that says that the contribution amount is going to increase.
If not, maybe not as high as they had suggested, but maybe gradually.
Right.
It will start here, but gradually get to there by a few years from now. Let's hear what you say, folks. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Yes, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
All right. It's hard to believe, right, that national insurance is going to have a problem because of babies born. When our population is increasing steadily, and the issue is with babies is that the rich people are not having babies, and the civil bombers are not having babies. They're having 1 and 2. But the poor behemoths, they're having babies, and to do with the what I want to say, the jobs and things, and ensuring national insurance contribution. We have a major sector in our economy, the construction sector. We have large companies, right? They are subcontracting to contractors who are, in fact, the poor people, many poor people, they are being paid in envelopes for a reason for their employers to avoid NIV, national insurance contribution. And as well as these people, they're temporary workers, So we have an issue in this country with labor, and these are the issues, and not so much as babies being born. So the government needs to be real, when they talk about babies being born, because our population is increasing. Thank you.
Okay, but not at the rate that would help to buffer the fund, though. But it can be all of those things. It can be all of those things.
What kind of position would NIB be in if they could collect all those outstanding, or the majority of those outstanding money?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There are people who haven't paid, who aren't paying, and I know that they said they're going to be going after them, but I wonder, how much, what is the amount that is outstanding?
Yeah. And they'll tell you themselves, NIB will tell you. Those same people being paid in envelopes come to them when there are issues.
Right.
And they know fully well that they were being paid in envelopes, and they come seeking assistance, but they haven't.
But if you get paid in envelopes, why does that negate you from paying national insurance?
Hey, that's right. And they appeal to everyone. Appeal to everyone to come forward. But here we go. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hello, good morning.
Hi.
Morning.
Listen, when this increase do take place, I wish they would just take it from the employee, because the business owner does not get any return, and there's no real benefit to the business owner. Because if you tax the way they're doing it now, the business owner pays more than the employee. What do you expect to happen to the prices in the business place of business? Because the employee is the one that's benefiting mostly from national insurance. So don't go and tax the small business more, where we have to put more money with the employees' money. The employees get whatever it is they get at the end of the day when they have a problem. We don't get anything. And it takes away from our overhead.
Wow, that's really, okay. You're not going to get much support from hardly anybody.
No, I know, but then you have to go. What do you expect to happen?
But often these,
then you go on the business donation also.
Often these workers are getting hurt on the job. They are getting hurt because of their place of employment. So you have to do
still,
something.
If that's the case, it's still you charge them more. Because what is going to happen? Inflation is going to go up again. The business owner is not just going to absorb that, right? So,
okay. Well,
I mean, tell me what you think.
No, I can't agree with you. I'm sorry. I mean,
No,
people.
it may not make sense to you.
No,
now
I understand what you're saying, But it really, I mean, you think about what the employees do. They are spending their money to get to work. They're buying clothes to come to work, right?
They ain't paying nothing compared to what the business owner is paying to exist and operate. They're nowhere near.
Wow.
So why put more of a burden on the place of business? I don't understand that, man.
I mean, okay, I hear you. Well, it's contributions on both sides, but okay. But ooh, boy, folks, what do you make of that? Put all of the burden, whatever the increase is, on the employee. Love to hear your reaction, Laverne. What you got to say about that one, Laverne?
Yes.
You come on now.
Right, I'm an employee, so I'm not an employer. I'm an employee.
He's
so
saying
they'll
be able to keep the staff. They'll be able to hire more, maybe, then do more things. Okay. Caller, good morning. What say you?
Good morning, Dwight. How are you doing again?
I'm doing well.
Dwight, let me tell you the problem in this country. Dwight, I hire people. Let me tell you something, Dwight. I pay national insurance money. And the call is right now. Anyway, but see, my thing is, I believe in paying taxes. Dwight, let me tell you what I did early parties. I take an early pension because it's not to be able to choke, because I know people in the streets, right? They say they never work and never will. They get, and I be getting money, getting everything. I never, all these subcontractors, like Gardner said a while ago, these big time companies, subcontractors work. Anytime I sub out a work, anybody, I tell them go pay NIB, because I can tell the people NIB, I sub out with you for X, Y, Z. I get everything documented. I got a friend to make thousands of dollars a week and refuse to pay NIB. Dwight, I got a smartphone. Wherever, tell me, right, on my number, but your payment is due. But BT is saying me, why the people at NIB don't do the same thing and make this up? The taxi drivers, the bus driver, the jet ski, pay your money, please, man.
I mean, I think they are trying. They're trying, but
Right, they're trying, right?
you don't think so?
They are not trying, and that's why people like me is just frustrated. Who pay my bills? And if I owe them something on inline, $400 or $500, they won't give me my CCC and my business. Right? Hey, see, the government got to start having people like me, man. They got to have people like me, man. The government don't give me nothing, All they doing is tax me to death, and that's why. And I ain't ashamed to say, but I will go and service line and NIB, okay, my light bill and my water bill, but government pay, Because people with whole time people, they take their union money. If they work one day, they take money out their salary. And the unions supposed to have their people, and they get my money. The government don't give me nothing. Right? Wow. And this country is running bad. And I don't both governments doing it, man. Go collect our money. And all these big construction companies, put the pressure on them.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Because it's Steve down. Hey, Dwight and your co-host, Ms. Gardner. That call before the last one, he don't know what's going on, because when I was paying $58.92 about 15, 20 years before I retired from the police force, and I retired paying that. But the government, Pandora about you to let you know that they retire from national insurance. The government, whoever was your employer, which mine was the government, was paying 3 times the amount I was paying. So that call before the last one, he's misinformed. The employer is paying for the employees now.
Yeah. That's what he's saying. It shouldn't be. He said that the increase should come on the employee side. That's what he said.
Employee?
Yeah, it should come out of the employee.
No, I thought he.
No,
I thought he meant that you shouldn't take nothing out of the employee. And the duration shouldn't be on against the employee.
No, he's saying it should be. He said not on the employer.
No. Everyone gonna pay. The employer gonna pay a little more, and
he's saying don't do that.
And the employee will pay a little more.
He's saying put that whole thing on the employee.
No. I don't think they will do that. You see?
Right. That's what he's upset about.
They have to balance it out.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what he's saying. It's a burden on the employer. But right. All right. Let's take this call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Are you there?
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Just 2 quick things today. Is there anybody in the country that could call you today, or maybe you, that can tell us how we can get rid of all taxes on the few citizens we have and instead tax every other thing that happens throughout the Commonwealth? You know, one cruise ship bragged about making $10 billion in 2019. How much did we tax them? I'd tell you. How much is a registry? Do you know that? A few $1,000s? See, I want to hear all the smart people, yellow, red, green, call you today and tell you how to have no NIB tax for a Bahamian. But if someone else is benefiting, tax them. Now, secondly, Dwight, this little envelope thing. You know the little thing? What happens when we get rid of all the paper money? You've heard of the sand dollar, haven't you? It's a digital money on your phone, like how you transfer minutes. Money will be on your phone. There won't be any more paper money to put in the little bag. I think we were aiming for 2025. So that probably will get rid of a lot of little things like corruption. But it also will be horrible if I know every dollar you have and every dollar you spend and what you spend it on, won't it? So two things. We don't have to worry about the little thing in a few years because paper money's going away. And secondly, I challenge anyone in this nation to call you right now. I think C. Alan Johnson might. And tell us how we can get rid of all NIB, hardworking, good Bahamian citizens, yellow or red. Have a good day.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let's take another call, and then we'll get to your text messages on this NIB situation here. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight, and good morning, Laverne. How are you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
Good, and good morning to the nation. You're discussing the NIB matter as it relates to the raising of contributions.
That's right.
Am I correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. I believe, Dwight, that that issue is not as simple as it is being discussed right now. I heard some of the Minister of State responsible for NIB contribution and some of the points that he made from the actuary report. And that challenge, Dwight, if you could give me some time to explain what I'm saying. That challenge also stems from the poor investments that have been made using the taxpayer funds and contributions to NIB, where he explained that at least, I think, 50%, if I'm not mistaken, I stand to be corrected, but at least 50% of the NIB fund, Dwight, Laverne, and the nation, has been invested in assets that when you conduct the analysis to date and you look at the value of those investments versus what is being stated on the books, and you look at the condition that the investments are in versus what is being stated on the books, there is a net loss in terms of the valuation of the investments that are on NIB books, monies that has been spent that goes towards contributing or totaling the overall value of NIB. That's a huge problem, Dwight, that has not been tapped into as yet in this conversation. That needs to be added to the conversation. And then, Dwight, on the flip side, and that's at least 50% of the fund, like I said, if I'm not mistaken, that's not really valued at what it's stated to be valued at on the books. And when you look at the cost that it would take to invest to get those investments up to standard to really carry the value that is being stated on the books, it would be astronomical, unsustainable, and it would render the fund probably useless if they seek to invest those funds. And then on the flip side, Dwight, this is a macro problem and not just a micro problem, Dwight. When you look at the fact that our someone touched it, but they didn't really touch it in any real way. They only made reference to a point, which is the size of our population. I want to expand there for a moment, Dwight, and then I have one, maybe two other areas.
Really quickly.
Can you hear me, Dwight? I want to make sure.
We can hear you, but we're running out of time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. When you look at the size of our population, Dwight, and of course the factor that most of our population is aging and they're not in a position to contribute, what that tells me as a thinking person, Dwight, is the current structure of our economy is also putting a chokehold on NIB of our economy. I spoke about it when the what's the guy's name where you invited me to come and participate in that program where Michael Alcides and Hubert Edwards and the rest of them were having that program that evening. What was the name of that program, Dwight?
I can't recall right now.
In any event, I made the point that the way our economy is currently structured, It is choking the life out of every aspect of our economy. Money is not moving, Dwight. The government has to find a way to be the catalyst to ensure that the economy not only grows, but also that we grow the amount of Bahamian entrepreneurs. That is where the new that is where the new contributions are going to come from, Dwight. That is where the sustainable contributions are going to come from, Dwight. We also need to find a way to better negotiate our heads of agreements with the hotels, because that is also where we're getting dragged. The hotels being the actual number one private sector employer in the country, where they employ most, or they employ the largest group of private sector employees in the country. So we need to find a way where that minimum wage in the hotel also increases, and where better contributions can come from that sector. We need to find a way to ensure that small and medium-sized businesses in the country can increase, and in a sustainable way, not in a seasonal way, based on which government is in power. And so, Dwight, that problem, I'll end right here, that problem, Dwight, of the NIB issue is not just a micro situation, that's a macro situation. And I mentioned some of the key points that the government needs to be able to resolve and find the solutions and equations to ensure that we can get back on good footing. And it won't happen in one term, in a 10, 15, 20-year run. Or we're doing about.
Okay. Well, that's going to be challenging, right? We don't have much time, according to Minister LaRota. So, I don't think anybody was thinking.
We have 6 years.
Right.
You got to get it right. And no, we have less than 6 years to get it right.
I don't think anybody was suggesting it was a micro issue. So it's a big problem, big deal.
So what we really have to do is, and like Anton said, yes, we recognize that it is a micro issue, and reform has to take place in so many areas. Right now, we got to figure out what we could do, though, in the short term, right? Because 2028 is looming.
Let's take this call quickly, and then we've got to take a break. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Dwight.
Hi.
That last caller, he's all around the bush. The thing, I can make it simple, what government needs to do is get a good economist. That's the problem.
They've got many. They always do, but some don't always agree with what they want to do. So, right? Okay. Let's take a break. We'll get to your messages after the break and talk some more about some of the other things making news, including some news coming out of Grand Bahama. This is a Business News Roundup on Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit cfal.com, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Beulah, gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood. We now large and in charge. So we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too? Of course we can. But we could be in deep trouble if they find out. We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami. So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles. Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal. So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time.
Imagine driving your dream car, doing all the things you never thought you could, like perfecting your parallel parking skills or picking up your date. Everyone loves to dream. Stop dreaming. Start driving with a brand new offer from Scotiabank. With an auto loan from Scotiabank, benefit from no payments for up to 2 months, a low interest rate up to 9 years to repay, and free insurance for the first year up to 2.5% of the loan amount. Promotion ends June 30th, 2022. Stop dreaming and start driving today with an auto loan from Scotiabank.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It is time for your Morning Blend Business Report, brought to you by CFAL. One of the government's 2 bond offerings recently placed on the international markets is being backed by the IDB, the Inter-American Development Bank's policy-based guarantee, making the borrowing more affordable for the government. The government is seeking to borrow $400 million in total in this dual tranche issuance. The Series A bond is being backed by the IDB's $200 million credit guarantee. The remainder will be in a Series B bond. Some analysts believe that without that IDB guarantee, the government bond would attract around 13% interest, given the value of emerging markets. Guarantee credit rating firm Moody's assigned an AA rating, its highest rating, to the Series A unsecured bond issuance. You can read more about this in today's Guardian Business section. The Department of Inland Revenue has collected more than $930 million in taxes up to the end of May, according to Acting Comptroller Shunda Strachan with the Department of Inland Revenue. The Strachan says the amount is $100 million over projections for the fiscal year. Of the over $930 million collected from July 1st to the end of May, Strachan says $136 million came from real property taxes, $712 million from VAT, of which $220 million alone came from VAT stamps on conveyances, and $81 million came from business license fees. Real property tax collections were bumped up by $41 million. Was collected between January and the end of May this year from property owners that Strachan says never paid their obligations but became compliant. Some 15% of those collections stem from real property tax. Strachan says that their goal is to get the never payers to pay and the sometimes payers to become consistent payers, and that this is working. So far, just from that group alone, $47 million coming in. You can read more of her comments in today's Guardian Business section. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Aviation and Investments Chester Cooper says the delegation he led to Qatar and the Saudi CEO of Qatar Airways hoping to establish interline booking arrangements with Bahamas Air, as well as mulling over the possibility of the Bahamas becoming a passenger and cargo hub for Qatar Airways in the region. Cooper says that the meetings in Qatar were fruitful. He explained that while the Bahamas already has an air service agreement with Qatar, the delegation pitched the idea of making the country a regional hub for transshipment of air cargo throughout the Caribbean and Latin America. And the Bahamas is committed to assisting the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia with the development of its tourism product, while to financially support the Bahamas' Tourism Development Corporation and the Small Business Development Center. Cooper speaking about the ways that they found that significant cooperation can take place. Again, details in today's Guardian Business section. Overseas, Elon Musk is threatening to walk away from his $44 billion bid to buy Twitter, accusing the company of refusing to give him information about its spam bot and fake accounts. Lawyers for the Tesla and SpaceX CEO making the threat in a letter to Twitter dated Monday that the company disclosed in a filing with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. The lawyers wrote that Musk has repeatedly asked for the information since May 9th, about a month after his offer to buy the company, so he could evaluate how many of the company's 229 million accounts are fake. Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal has said that Twitter has consistently estimated that fewer than 5% of its accounts are spam, but Musk has disputed that, contending in a May tweet without providing evidence that 20% or more. Shares of Twitter Inc. slid 1.5% Monday, likely incensing Twitter shareholders who filed a suit against Musk late last month for deflating the price of the stock. Shares of Twitter are down more than 20% in the last month. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX for the last day of trading Thursday, your market movers cable Bahamas moving 18,850 shares, closing up 5 cents to $3.55. Commonwealth Brewery moving 500 unchanged at $8.15. Consolidated Water unchanged at $2.81. Emera Incorporated unchanged at $12.14. The BISX All Share Index closing at 2,431.10, up 0.90. Recapping the week, the local market ended the week with 46,554 shares crossing the exchange with 23 trades to accumulate a value of $182,734. The BISX All Share Index gained 14.49 points, 6%, to end the week at 2,431.30. Year-to-date, the index is up 203.06 points, or 9.11%. The week's volume and value leader, Commonwealth Bank, moving 29,484 shares in 9 trades with a value of $96,875. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. We're back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And we are talking about NIB and the fact that the minister responsible, State Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Miles LaRota, says that this is the contribution rates are going to have to increase. They cannot be circumvented. Getting a reaction to it. Let's go to the text line. And again, you can continue to text us 422-4796. This text here, I suggest no ceiling. Everyone pay 3.9% on employees and 5.9% employers. Another similar text. The cap on NIB needs to be lifted. Anyone making over $125,000 in this country should be on a different scale from those making less than $125,000. NIB needs to recoup all the money that the government has borrowed from it. NIB has to cash in all the private sector shares that it presently holds in various companies also. Only investments should be overseas bonds or T-bills. Okay. This other text, NIB will not be strapped if they could collect the monies owed from other government ministries who borrowed from them. Mm-hmm. And another one, unless the government looks at the country's resources to support its GDP, our population, and its academic production is not going to take care of our economy. How is it the Prime Minister and the Defense Force personnel are paying the same thing? Well, it's very specific there, but yeah, a lot of people will be asking that. This one says, if it is a burden on the employer, the benefit goes to the employees, so they should pay. Oh, it is. They're not asking. They're saying it is a burden on the employer. The benefit goes to the employees, so they should pay. Well, they do, but not as much. But you're saying it should be all on the employee. Okay. All right. I'm still waiting to hear people's reaction to that, folks. It should have come out of you. And then people will say, well, you need to pay me more so that I don't feel the pain from that contribution. So will it make a difference? Or they say, well, okay. Anyway. And it's the salary that you pay the person. So how is it? Okay. Anyway, it's coming out of what you pay the person. So why is it a burden for the employer? Do you get it? You just have to pay me, and a percentage of this is going to NIB. It's not added on to what you say you're going to pay me. It comes out of that. Right? So how is it a burden to you so much, employer? The burden is you making sure you pay.
Their burden may be the fact that their percentage, they pay more than the employee does.
What's that to you? I mean, it's coming out of what you pay me. Why are you?
Like what they have to pay, what the company itself has to pay.
But it's coming out of my salary.
It's not coming out of your salary.
I mean,
your portion is coming. When they pay, the company has to pay a portion, and you have to pay a portion. They deduct
on top
a
of
portion out of your salary.
I see.
But then they still have to pay a portion.
Right. Okay, fine.
That comes from them.
Yeah.
And so that's what their issue is.
But they calculate this. They calculate
the caller is saying that, hey, if there's going to be an increase, let it be the employee who pays, because it's them who benefiting.
But it's all, yeah, I mean, okay. We're all saying the same thing, though. But they calculate that based on how much we can offer you, knowing that I have to pay your national insurance. So are you going to pay me more? They say, okay, all going to come out of it. No, so you just will get a break. So you should, okay.
They just want you, if there's an increase, they want the employees. They want to pay whatever the amount that they're paying now. And if there's to be an increase, they want the employees to have to pay whatever that increase is. They want it to come out of the employees' salary, that they only pay them minimum wage, knowing that they can't. Minimum wage doesn't.
Right. Well, we could talk about these things. If, like, remember when we asked the minister about a cost of living increase, set in law, every couple of years you get a cost of living increase. If we're going to do this, then maybe we can talk about that.
Right.
Maybe, if I know that every 2 years that there will be a mandatory cost of living increase, then perhaps you can say something like that.
Yeah.
Perhaps we can talk about it. Perhaps. This text here: we will continue to fail as a country if we continue to elect and support governments who make decisions based on politics rather than common sense. Why wait until it's a point where we have to make drastic tax increases abruptly rather than now? After all, you said you were ready to govern from day one. Do so. If that fund goes empty, then many thousands would suffer, and that should be more important than political posturing. All right, now, to be fair, the Prime Minister didn't say he's never going to do it. He says not right now. We're just coming out of the pandemic. People are just getting their feet back onto the ground, and this first year might not be the right time for this. Maybe next year. Brace yourselves. Maybe this is what this strategy is all about, letting people mentally prepare themselves for it. Like we've been talking about it a lot, and so next year when you hear that the contributions have to go up, don't freak out. We were telling you this. But this first year, as people finally are working full time, you got to give people a little break, perhaps. Perhaps
the prime. This is awful, but I'm going to say it. Or perhaps the current prime minister saw what happened the last time a prime minister determined that they were making the tough decision.
Right. 2 years later, right?
4 years later, they were gone.
No, not 4, because 2010, what was the election? That was...
so he's
that was 2012, yeah. So,
as recent as 4 years ago.
So there you go.
he's
that one too.
saying, you know what? I don't know. What was the quote from the former prime minister? I'd rather lose an election than lose a country. So maybe this current prime minister is saying, let me see how I could do both. Let me see how I could save the country and also win an next election.
There you go. If he figures that one out. This one says here, tax collection and enforcement is an issue. NIB contribution collection rate is 40%. Why increase just collect? It's not that simple. You just, right? A lot of people are working hard to not allow you to collect. Otherwise, it seems the few who always pay will continue to be taxed and carry the burden. To help employers leave their rate at 5.9%, but increase the employees' portion, which is 3.9%. For a country in such debt, where do people get off asking for mandatory pay increases every 2 years? We are broke, and in one of the most expensive countries in the world, we need to let that sink in. Because it's so expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so expensive, right?
That's
to
why.
live here.
That's why. That's why we need to
That's
think
why
about
people are asking for increase.
cost of living increases, not just for fun, not for trips to the Greek Isles. Come on, talk so I could buy bread.
So I could buy gas.
Oh my gosh, not even the bread is much cheaper.
How about that?
Bread is
So
much
that I
cheaper
can
than
buy
gas. Gas, that's like going to the Greek Isles. Caller, let's see if we can squeeze you in really quickly. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Good morning. Are you there? Hello? No. Okay. Good morning. You're on the air. They just called the two lines and held them up? Okay. This text here. No increase for those who make less than Dwight Strachan. Increase for everyone else, including Dwight Strachan. Well, that's going to be a whole lot of people getting taxed. The majority of the right? I don't know what you're saying. What do you think this is? You're very confused. That's everybody.
That means that everybody's going to be taxed.
you need to rethink your texter. Oh my goodness.
What did they hear?
I don't know. Who Dwight Strachan are they talking about? I'm sure there are others. Okay. So that's what we're talking about today, folks. So pick up today's business section. There's a lot in there, including what do you think? A passenger and cargo hub for Qatar Airways, and teaming up with Saudi Arabia. Exciting. Definitely exciting. So we will see. For us today, the hour went by very quickly. Laverne Gardner, thank you so much for being here on a Tuesday.
It's a
Appreciate
pleasure.
it. And I'll talk with
See
you again
Thursday.
on Thursday. On Thursday, absolutely. The text is still coming in. I'll read those off here. All right. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. By the way, getting an update that the thunderstorm warning has been extended to 11:30 a.m. It still is in effect for Exuma and Central and South Eleuthera, but also now includes North and Central Andros, Cat Island, and North Long Island. And again, that thunderstorm warning is in effect until 11:30 this morning. Expecting more locally heavy showers and thunderstorms and dangerous lighting. So keep that in mind. But that is it. Again, stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.